Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Monday, November 6th, 2023, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $ ORION NWSF or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got the Los Angeles Chargers versus the New York Jets. Kickoff is going to be here in just about a minute or two, and I am ready to go. And I apologize, it took a little bit longer to make the thumb to get everything situated. I'm a perfectionist, so I have to make sure I get it lined up just right. On the left, we got Austin Ekeler, and on the right, we got Breece Hall. And I'm telling you, a lot of times when I end up making the thumbs, I can sometimes get them done in about 30 minutes, but in most cases, it takes about an hour. Today, it took about an hour and a half, and I had to keep restarting my computer and restarting the program because I wasn't really able to get them lined up correctly. But I figured, if I keep pushing, eventually I'll get it right. And I'm kind of, down to the wire. I literally got online here about 2 minutes before kickoff, but better late than never. Let's go. Daniel in the building. What's good? Sarah in the building. What's good? Let's get to 100 in donos. And like I was saying at the early part of the week, I actually think that this game is going to be a little bit better than people think. I think it's going to surprise a lot of people. The Jets defense is for real. Now, are the Jets going to end up winning this game? I'm not too sure if they can win, but I do think that the defense is legit. One of the best in the NFL. And if they can force a couple picks or get a couple fumbles off Herbert or Ekeler or maybe punch it, out from one of the receivers, maybe the Jets could win like 2017, or maybe we can have a low-scoring game like 23-20. And more than likely, the Chargers have enough firepower to win the game 24-20, 23-20, 23-17, something like that. But you never know. If the defense can get a pick six, or if we get a fumble or a punt return for a touchdown, something big on the special team side, a pick six, a fumble for a touchdown, maybe a punt return or a kick return for a touchdown, just to supplement a little bit of the offense for Zach Wilson. Maybe that'll be enough for the Jets to overcome, being the huge underdog and possibly get the dub. So we'll see what happens. But again, on paper, a lot of people are thinking, this game is going to be boring. It's not going to be good. I feel it will be pretty good tonight. And here we go. A guy in the building. Raiders. What's good, bro? And obviously, as you look at, the Chargers, they're going to have a brilliant offense with Herbert, right? Austin Ekeler. You're going to get guys like Keenan Allen. No Mike Williams since he's, out for the year. They got their powder blues. They're looking fire, right? I got Keenan Allen in fantasy, and I got the Jets D in fantasy. So I'm at a little bit of a tug and war, with what I want. It's like I want the Jets to win the game, but I want Keenan Allen to go off. If Keenan Allen can get me like 15, 20 points, but the Jets win, and I can get 10 to 15 out of that defense, then both sides win for me. Let's go, baby. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Let's go, baby. Keep me updated on all. I mean, you pretty much did on a majority of that update that we had on MLB free agency and whatnot. Oh, I don't really know what happened yesterday, with the lack of turnout for the Bills and, the Cincinnati Bengals. I thought that would be one of the, top matchups of the year. But apparently a lot of NFC fans or maybe AFC fans that aren't fans of those teams going deep. Good defense, Sauce. No flags. But I guess not a lot of people really gave a shit about that matchup last night. So I decided to end the stream early and do reaction videos instead. But hopefully, things end up being a little bit better today. And hopefully we can end up hitting, 20 on the likes, hit the goal on the donos, and possibly get a few new subs in here as well. Let's go, baby. And I'm a big Justin Herbert guy, but I won't lie. If there is a team that I'm rooting for tonight, it is the Jets. It's like I want Herbert to do well. I want Keenan Allen to do well, but I want the Jets D to dominate. So I like underdog stories. Blitz. Incomplete. There we go. David in the building. What's good? A guy in the building. Daniel in the building. Sarah in the building. What's good? Good defense. And there's a reason why I picked up the Jets in fantasy weeks ago because I had a feeling that they could do big, big things for me. I figured they would be a top 10 defense in fantasy all year, and they're very, very good. You know, they have the ability to put up big, big numbers 20, 18, 11, and then 10. And then obviously they're defaulted at 10 right now. So the last three games have been 18, 11, and 10. And we remember when they had the three picks in the first game against the Bills, they put up a 20. So I don't know if we're going to get something like that. But on the bad side, right, weeks 2, week 3, and week 4, they played Dallas, New England, and KC. They put up a -1 against Dallas. Dallas put up 30 on them. That's all right. New England, they only put up a 2, which was weird because New England sucks. And then Kansas City, they put up a 4. So with Dallas with a -1 and the KC at 4, I understand. New England with a 2, that was kind of baffling because we know New England's offense is nothing. But a 20 against Buffalo, 18 against Denver, 11 against the Eagles, and 10 against the Giants, I feel that we can get something done here tonight. All right, come on, Zach Wilson, show me something. Hand off to Breece Hall. And I got Breece on the thumb, baby. Let's go. And isn't it crazy? If you're looking at, both teams, you would think that the records would be flip-flop. You would think maybe the Chargers would be 4-3, 5-2, and maybe the Jets would be 3-4 or worse. But the defense is keeping teams around. Just ask the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Cleveland Browns, and the New York Jets. If you got defense, you can hang around. But eventually, Zach Wilson's got to have the Wilson to Wilson, right? You got to go to Garrett. He's got to get in the end zone. And you got to go to a lot of Breece Hall. So I'm hoping that the offense can put up at least a touchdown. Maybe the defense or special teams can put up a touchdown. And then we can see where it goes from there with a few field goals. But, if you're expecting the Jets to score 30, not going to happen. I'd be very, very shocked. I mean, if they put up 30 tonight, then we're talking about a pick six, 2 or 3 touchdowns, either, through the air and ground combined, and then something else magical with a couple field goals. But I'll just take a Jets win if we can get it. Oh, big hit. Big, big hit. Wow. And on for the Chargers, we know they can score points at will, but what's the thing about them? It's about their O-line, their D-line, their defense, their coaching, and their play calling. And their defense always folds, more than a lawn chair in summertime while I'm drinking Coronas, okay, at the beach. They always fold. They always have injuries, and they always nut up when it, really matters the most, which sucks, because you want to have the Chargers break the curse unless you're a Raider fan, right? Like if you're like A Guy or David, you're like, I want to see the Chargers fail. I want to see the Broncos fail. I want to see everyone fail but us, including the Chiefs, right? And a lot of times the Chargers are just going to do it to themselves. I mean, look at their head coach. Staley is garbage, right? But then also on top of Staley being a garbage coach and a garbage play caller, get him! Oh, go, the 50, the 40, he's gone! The 20, the 10, the 5, touchdown, Chargers! And he flags, though. Looks like it was clean. Wow. Darius Davis. That might be the only special teams touchdown that they're going to see all year. Wow. That was a hell of a play. I can't hate on that. Bad angle there by the Jets. And then a bad angle there by the kicker as well. That was just a hell of a good cutback and a good run. Plant your foot down and just go. And he did. Wow. Well, it's going to make it extra hard now for the Jets to pull off this upset if they're giving up special teams touchdowns to the fucking Chargers. Kick is up, and it's good. Hey, but at least we got some exciting football out of it. So it's not very good for my fantasy. Not very good for my fantasy giving up numbers like that right out of the gate. Come on now. Don't be doing that to me. Wow. Odin son, my boy, I just saw your message on my phone, man. I'm sorry to hear that, bro. I mean, I don't know what your timetable is, obviously for, what you got going on. We definitely missed you, during, obviously the WWE pay-per-view and whatnot. but I do appreciate your love and support. With the dono that you had earlier in the day. If we didn't have that, we would have definitely not got even close to getting anywhere halfway near the goal or the goal. So I appreciate you for that. And if you have time to hang out with us, we can definitely cheer you up. It's been a kind of a rough few days. Obviously you had some family member issues. Notre Dame lost, but hopefully that Chiefs win that definitely gave you a little bit of a spark, even though you're a little bit down right now. And like I said, if there's anything I can do for you, just let me know, and I got you, brother. 7-0 Chargers. I think that's the first Chargers kick return or punt return I've seen in years. I'm trying to remember the last time I seen the Chargers actually do something amazing on defense or on special teams. It's been a minute, but at least it makes the game exciting right out of the gate. Right. I understand, but I think the perception, if you know football, the Jets can win at home. Now, if the Jets were on the road, it would be a little bit harder, but they could still do it because their defense is so freaking good, right? But the thing is with Zach Wilson, I mean, how many points can we really act like we're going to get from that offense? Like maybe one touchdown, couple field goals, maybe two touchdowns at the most, one in the air, one on the ground, and he'll probably make a few mistakes. We can't bank on Zach Wilson, getting three touchdowns in the air by himself. He just can't do it. Like he maxes out at one or two touchdown passes, one or two mistakes, and then you got to hope Brees Hall gets in one or two times. Then you got to hope that the defense scores, and then maybe they get a punt return and a kick return like the Chargers did. And if all that happens, maybe you hit 20 to 30 points. But if not, it's like they're hitting 19 or less in a lot of games. But maybe this will be the game that they'll get a little bit over 20, and then they'll give them a shot. The defense wins games and defense wins championships. So sounds like everyone in the room is on the same level. I don't have any affiliation because I'm not a Chief fan like Odin's son. I'm not like David and A guy where they love the Raiders. So obviously the Chargers play and they want those teams to lose in their division so that way they can gain ground and see their rival lose. For me, I don't have anyone really, in this particular matchup that I'm really rooting for or against. I like Jay Herb, but I know the Chargers are ass until they get rid of their coach. I almost feel that they're wasting Herbert's career. It's like Herbert needs to go to another team, Buccaneers, and then maybe we can turn his career around. But if for the time being, as long as he's there, they're just going to have shiny pieces, like shiny rims, but they're just going to have this dusty vehicle, and that's going to be the head coach. Like you got Eckler, who's badass, Keenan Allen, badass, Mike Williams, pretty badass, Herbert, badass. But it's like, with all that being said, offensive line always gets hurt, shitty ass coach, shitty play calling, defense that actually has names, but they always get hurt. Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, Derwin James. Maybe the only one that doesn't is Asante Samuel Jr., but, almost caught. That was pretty sick if he was able to hang on. So it's like the team that has all these names, as far as superstar talent, but every single year, it's the same damn thing. It's the AFC, Dallas Cowboys, the Los Angeles Chargers. Prove me that I'm wrong. Every year we hear the Chargers and Herbert and Dak and the Cowboys. And at the end of the year, right, they may make the playoffs with 10 or 11 wins, but what happens every single year? They get bumped in the first round. So I feel that until big things change, like the coaches, you're going to get the same thing over and over again. The Dallas Cowboys and the AFC, the Los Angeles Chargers, and the Chargers, the NFC version of the Dallas Cowboys. I don't really have Herbert bias. Do I ever say that Herbert's number one? Hey, guy, you're hanging on to shit that I said 5 years ago, okay? Opinions can change, games change, players change, all right? I don't feel that the Chargers are a great team, and I don't even consider Herbert elite. I don't even think he's one of the top 4 quarterbacks in the NFL. So you need to get into your pencil and your playbook and go back 5 years ago and understand that I might have an opinion change over these years. I'm not biased over Herbert. Have you ever heard me say that in the last year or 2 or 3 that Herbert's the number 1 quarterback? I've never said that. All right? Come on, hey guy, be better. I don't got a bias because there's plenty of quarterbacks that are better. Okay? Mahomes is better. Jalen Hurts is better. Joe Burrow is better. Lamar is better. The only one that I would pick him over is probably Josh Allen. That motherfucker is a turnover machine. Come on, hey guy, be better. Short game. Yeah, how dare you say I have Herbert bias? If anything, I keep it real and I keep it 100. Have you ever heard me say that he's the number one quarterback in the NFL? Fuck no. Come on, hey guy. Ooh, roughing the passer. That's literally the only quarterback, though, as far as the elites, that some people would probably disagree. They say, "Oh, Josh Allen's way better than Herbert." But again, you have to have good coaching. Herbert's never had a good coach, unless you think Anthony Lynn and fucking Staley are good. Offensive line isn't good. Defense isn't good. I mean, they got weapons: Eckler, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. But if you don't got good coaching and your defense always gets hurt, how do you expect them to overachieve or make the AFC Championship game? They're never going to do it. They just got cool uniforms and they always underachieve every single year. Uh-oh, Garrett! Uh-oh, he coughed it up. Yeah, but the thing is you act like if I say something 5 years ago, that my opinion is supposed to stay the same. So you're saying that if players get better or worse than whatever I say 5 years ago, and that's what it is? Come on, A guy, be better. I'm the least biased person on planet Earth. Name someone else that's more, that has less bias than me that does NFL coverage on YouTube or TV. Come on, bro. I do think Herbert has a chance to be one of the best players out of Oregon of all time. But again, nothing is ever going to change, unless you get better coaching, better O line, better defense, and better play calling. Opinions change. Like everyone thought Josh Allen was the best thing since sliced bread. Now everyone is starting to realize how exposed he is as a quarterback, and he's a turnover machine. So for many, many years, all of us, including myself, had Josh Allen top three, right? We had Mahomes, we had Allen, we had Burrow, right? And then it was like Herbert and Lamar and everyone else behind them. But now no one really trusts Josh Allen, and it shows you with the defense. They can't stop a nosebleed. First couple weeks of the season, they were top three. They literally are one of the worst defenses in the league now. So times change, people change, opinions change. So just because I said something about Herbert 5 years ago doesn't mean I feel the same way today. Come on, A guy. Be better. Be better, A guy. You're acting like you've never had an opinion that's never changed in your life. I always keep it 100. Have I ever said Justin Herbert's going to win a Super Bowl, guaranteed 100%? That he's the best in the NFL? No. Come on, brother. Reflect in the building. What's good? Hey, guy, you're acting like a troll out there that looks for that one thing that maybe I was wrong at, 5 years ago, not the thousand things that I predict every single fucking day when I do the streams. It's like Colin Coward, in the herd, when he'll go through his predictions, and then you got to point out that one thing from 5 years ago or 2 years ago, but not the thousand things that I get right on a daily basis. Come on, brother. Be better. Okay, so how can I be biased without ever saying that he's the best in the NFL? How? Because I went to Oregon games and I got to see what he did right in front of my very eyes, right? That he was a good leader. He's smart. He's not going to get in trouble. If he had the right coaching, that he could possibly get to a Super Bowl. I mean, what's bias about that? Come on. I give credit where credit is due. All right, here we go, baby. Shotgun set. Looked like the line moved a little early, and they did. Plus, if you really think about it, if you think I'm so, biased on Herbert, which I don't feel I am, He's never really had, exactly what he needed to get better. He's not good enough to make everyone around him better. He's a very good, talent, top 10, maybe top 5, top 6, but he's not Burrow. He's not Lamar, right? As far as Lamar's kind of uptick this year, he's not Mahomes, right? And he's not Jalen. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's going to be throws that he makes, but he needs help. He's one of those quarterbacks like Dak and a few others that if he had better coaching, imagine where he could go, like where his career and his trajectory could go if he actually played on a team that had a defense, that actually had a quarterback guru as a coach that could honestly help him. You could end up having Herbert, go from being maybe the 5th, 6th, 7th quarterback, and maybe possibly with a good coach and a good defense in line, right, on a different team, maybe Herbert could be considered top 3. I don't think that's crazy to think. He's got the skill set. He just doesn't have all the pieces around him. V-Man in the building. What's good? Uh-oh. Fumble. It's a fumble party. Good entertaining game so far, which I knew it would be. Yeah, we don't want to end the stream prematurely like yesterday. 3rd down and 13. Jets crowd is very good. I love their passion and energy. I mean, just imagine if they had Rodgers, they'd be going to the playoffs this year, 100%. Hell, they might make the playoffs this year. You never know. They could maybe get in with a wild card. It's not likely, but if you get hot and healthy at the right time. But Zach Wilson is just not good enough, to be their franchise guy, years moving forward. And, Aaron Rodgers had the Achilles tear. The guy doesn't even have crutches. So I don't know what kind of witchcraft he's on right now, but there is a chance if the Jets are close, maybe Rodgers comes back at the end of the year. V-Man in the building. He's a big Jet fan. Reflect in the building. What's good? Fair caught. Bang, bang, bang. Boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. $5 holla. Let's go, baby. Let me know what you want to see for photos, and I got you. Yes, thank you. Someone to get it going started early. A guy wants to argue. Reflect wants to be able to support the brand, so I appreciate that. Hybrid in the building. What's good? $95 to go to hit the goal. And so the schedule for the rest of the week is going to be this. So tomorrow, since we don't have the NFL, we are going to do Kraken. I've been wanting to do a Kraken matchup for a minute. So we're going to do the Kraken and the Coyotes. The Coyotes. So we're going to do the Kraken and the Coyotes tomorrow. That's going to be at 6 o'clock. We're going to end up doing that. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to AEW Dynamite with Preston. I still don't know if we're in nosebleeds or front row. It's a surprise. So even if we're in the nosebleeds, I won't care. And maybe I'll try to get an overpriced T-shirt depending on how the donos go today and tomorrow. I imagine T-shirts there are going to be like $40. So I already got a couple Kenny Omegas that I got gifted to me that I still haven't worn that are in the closet. And then on Thursday, after going to AEW Dynamite with no stream on Wednesday, we will end up doing the Thursday night matchup, which isn't really the best matchup. It's going to be the Panthers and the Bears. But hopefully it ends up being kind of like this matchup where it ends up being slightly better than we think it's going to be. So, yeah. But like I said, remember, it's like, there's going to be certain matchups, where like the Ravens ended up, beating the Lions, but the Ravens also beat you guys too. So, the Ravens are definitely peaking at the right time, and it's hard to win at home. Just like I was telling people, yesterday and the day before when you weren't here, if the Seahawks were at home, they could have won 37-3. You didn't get Kenneth Walker the third going early and often. When I did the reaction video, I saw one highlight of him in the third quarter. Then the flow of the game was already out of whack and you were already behind. Then you're forced to pass. They know you're going to pass. and the Ravens have the best defense statistically in the NFL. So, very, very tough. But again, home field advantage is everything. If Seattle was at home, it could have been, a different type of a reality, a different score. So I still think, even though that the Hawks lost, and I kind of had a feeling that they would, I still think that they're one of the top four teams in the NFC. They're the Niners, the Lions, right? The Hawks and the Eagles, and then you got the Cowboys and Saints, and they're all kind of grouped together. Winning games in the NFL is tough, especially when you play against a sleeper team like yourself in the Ravens at home. Not very many teams are going to be able to go into Baltimore and win. And we saw the Lions and Hawks, they're two of the best, and they couldn't get it done over there. And even AFC teams have a hard time going into Baltimore, especially if that defense is flying around like they did. So 7-0 Chargers. Little play action fake. Oh, nice hit. Derwin James. Yeah. And it shows you once you build up the O-line more, the defense gets a little bit better, and that's going to be the key for like the Hawks and the Lions. You're going to have to win against good teams on the road from the opposite conference. And once you're able to do that, like when you guys had the Legion of Boom and Marshawn, that's when you know that you're NFC Championship ready. So they still could overachieve Lions and Hawks this year, but again, you want to be able to see them do those type of things in the regular season, at least once or twice, to give us the belief that if they have to go to like the Niners or go to Philadelphia, or if they overachieve and they have to play some AFC team, that they can actually get it done. Still think they're a good team. But again, some people are going to overreact. Some people are going to underreact. It's one game. Great elite teams in the NFL, typically drop 4 or 5 games, before they end up getting to the Super Bowl. So you have a couple bad losses. What's new? It happens to everyone, even the best of them. Second down and 6. Come on, Zach. Hand off. Breeze. Both defenses are flying around out there. And when the Chargers defense is healthy and they're all out there together, they're fun to watch. Derwin James, Asante Samuel Jr., I love those two. Khalil Mack, he's a little bit older, but every once in a while he'll have a career game. And then they got Joey Bosa, but I feel with Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, you don't really hear a lot from them game in and game out. You hear more with Derwin James and Asante Samuel Jr. Oh, I already knew we were going to lose that game. Oh, another fumble. It's 12 noon. You know what time it is. Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Coughed it up. Bosa. There he is. When Bosa and Khalil Mack and Derwin James and Asante Samuel Jr., all four are on the field at the same time and they're healthy, then plays like this happen pretty often. Yeah. But again, my Buccaneer defense is nowhere near where it was with the Super Bowl team. We've lost the key contributors in the secondary, and CJ Stroud had himself a day. But if my defense is normally playing like a top 10 defense, there's no way in hell he throws for fucking 5 touchdown passes and almost 400 to 500 yards. Give me a break. You know what I mean? Like maybe throw for 300, 350, and maybe throw for like 3 tutties, but not like throwing at will. But again, my team isn't good. We started off 3-1. We dropped like 4 or 5 in a row. We're not making the playoffs. We're going to get Michael Penix Jr. in the draft. So I'm all right. I want the Saints to keep feeding Taysom Hill and AK-41, and the Saints will win the NFC South, and the Buccaneers will finish in second or third, either ahead of the Falcons or below them, and I'm okay with that. I actually hope it goes Saints, Falcons, Bucks, Panthers. But if it was my dream, I would even have the Panthers be better than us because I really want that franchise QB. So, I didn't want to win that game. Honestly, it's like when we were 3-1, I was like, well, I guess we're going to make the playoffs by default because everyone else is, booty cheeks. But then the Saints started to figure it out, and they're starting to run away with it, and I'm glad because I don't want Baker to be my quarterback for the next 2 to 5 years. I need Michael Penix Jr. in a Buck uniform. You know what? He is so good. He is a franchise quarterback. He's going to be better than AR. AR is one of those guys. He'll be able to give you the running and the throwing. He won't be as good of a thrower as Stroud, but he'll be obviously a better runner like Cam Newton, and he'll score on the goal line, and he'll be able to run over guys. The only problem with that is that he's going to be prone to injuries like he had already in his rookie season. So that's what's going to hold him back. First down, Chargers. But if AR can stay healthy for the rest of his career, it'll be pretty close with him and CJ. But I give CJ the nod because he's more of a natural passer. He can run outside the pocket, but he's very smooth. When you watch CJ play, he looks like an 8-year vet. He does not look like a rookie when he plays. So for me, I think he's going to be a top 10 quarterback moving forward starting next year. I would not be shocked if he was like the 10th ranked quarterback and he'll move his way up. And then maybe eventually, when the Texans get better, maybe one day CJ Stroud will be considered a top 5 quarterback. Hell, maybe even top 3 as some of these other guys get a little older or retire or get hurt or the pecking order moves up and down. I like him a lot, though. You know, the kid is fucking really special. And like I said, good for him. I just wish that he didn't have to have his career day against me, but I already knew my defense wasn't very good. Vita Vea, you got one guy up front, you got Devin White and Levante David, and then you got Antoine Winfield Jr. So I only got 4 guys that I can trust on my defense out of 11, and that ain't going to cut it. So, yeah, he's amazing. Like I said, I really there hasn't been too many prospects that I've really, really liked. I like C.J. Stroud even better than Trevor Lawrence, so that's saying something. I think Trevor and him are the 2 best prospects that we've seen in a few years. But I even put CJ and his ceiling higher than Trevor. And Trevor's, kind of like the Andrew Luck, type of guy, all the accolades. We already know he's good. But like I said, if I had to choose a guy for my team, I think I would slightly go CJ over Trevor, even though Trevor also will be a top 10 quarterback very, very soon. Like right now, people think he's maybe 11 to 15. But at some point, both Lawrence and CJ will be top 10 every year. Little halfback toss. There we go. Go, go. Eckler, baby. Touchdown, Chargers. I think that's a hold, though. It's coming back. But also, too, if your offensive line is protecting and you got 5 seconds on every throw, everything is going to look smooth. Footwork is going to look smooth. Throwing motion looks smooth. Everyone catching the goddamn ball. Nico Collins and fucking Noah Brown having a career day like he's on the Cowboys again. It's like you get all these guys. Tank Dell. It's like, when Tank Dell and Nico Collins are going off for like, 350 yards combined and like 3 tutties, the defense they're playing is probably dog shit, and it was. But it is shitty, though, knowing that I have a couple Hall of Famers on my team, and it wasn't good enough. Like, Vita's a really good player. Levante David, and Devin White, they're going to be, Levante, I feel, is very borderline with his career, but he's just a lower name. We have to see more out of Devin White and Vita Vea. And honestly, I think the best player on the defense is Antoine Winfield Jr., and I think he'll end up being a Hall of Famer. So Levante, borderline, Devin White, Vita Vea, I need to see more. The trajectory is going there, if they can keep it up for another 10, 12 years. But I really feel that Antoine Winfield Jr., he will be a Hall of Famer when it's all said and done. A lot of randos, plugged into the lineup, and they did really shitty. Like my other corners and safeties are just dog shit. Carlton Davis, crap. And a lot of the Izien and a lot of these like lower name guys they had to bring in. McCollum, golly, they fucking suck. They can't cover in man. They can't cover in zone. They can't play nickel. They can't play dong. They can't play prevent. They can't tackle. Brutal. But I'm happy he had his moment because I did want to lose that game. At one point, I wanted to win. Herbert, pump fake, and complete. But then when I saw the momentum going, I was like, all right, CJ, do your thing, Yeah, CJ is way ahead of his time. It took him a few games to kind of get going, you know. But also, too, we have to realize if CJ and AR were on the Panthers, they'd be struggling. It's not like, you put CJ or Richardson on any team and they're just going to ball out. The Panthers just have a lot of holes, So it's glad that CJ went to the Texans because they already had kind of a lot already there. and their draft class was awesome. Touchdown Chargers, and another flag. Like Nico Collins is good, Tank Dell is good. You know, they got oh boy, you know, from Bama on defense as well. You know, it's like you got Anderson, so it's like you got so many nice pieces. The Texans are going to look back at that draft and be like, dude, we had one of the best drafts in team history, maybe the best draft they've ever had. I mean, besides getting like J.J. Watt and whatnot, Andre Johnson, and a few other picks over the past years. But as far as a single draft, this one will definitely, as we look back and then we fast forward, 5 years, it wouldn't surprise me if the Texans end up winning the AFC South sooner than later. I mean, I feel that they have the potential. Yeah, but with CJ, I mean, he's very hard to predict. He had three, games in the first month that were like 20 points. Then he went back to reality and had a bunch of 12s and 14s. No one saw him potentially throwing up like a 40-point fantasy day. Nobody. And against the Buccaneer defense, which is traditionally pretty good. So that's what made it so shocking. Ekeler, touchdown, Chargers. My fantasy. Keenan Allen, get the ball, damn it. Eckler's a stud. It's like they're wasting Keenan Allen, Eckler, and Herbert. Like, imagine if they actually could go somewhere with a good coach, good play caller, actually have a defense that shows up every week, and an O line. Nice job, brother. It's not over yet. I mean, it looks like it's over, but you would assume the Jets at some point momentum has got to turn around. Yeah, his actually team didn't really do that good. I mean, Kincaid, CD Lamb, and CJ Stroud. Really, what provided the win for you is you got 23 points out of Cleveland defense. If that doesn't happen, you lose. But since that did happen, you won. You got your normal production out of Jalen. Deontay Johnson got you about 10 or 12 points more than you were expecting, probably 10 or 12, and he got you 22. Mostert did what normally Mostert does. Kelsey underwhelmed. But when you get 23 points out of your defense, and even though your kicker underwhelmed at 7, what did I always say? If you put up 20 to 30 with your defense and your kicker combined, you win 99% of the time. And you look at your opponent, what did they score? Miami defense 7, Butker 3, 10. And here's you reflect using your brain 23 Cleveland, 7 Aubrey, right? Boom, 30. So if you get 30, chances are you're going to find a way. And then he had CJ with 41.8, but he didn't get shit from Cook, Singletary, Chase, Thielen, Miami defense, Butker. So I already knew you were going to win that matchup. So now there's going to be two teams. You're going to take over first place based off points, but we're going to have the same record, and then we play each other next week. So we're both 7-2, and we're at the top. So, and I know, it all depends on who you get and the matchups and how good the defenses are. But, Cleveland is one of those teams. It's like if they play shitty, they still put up like normally 6 or 7. When they play good, it's like 10 to 25 points. So it's like, maybe the other team scores, but they still do something good. You can get 10 or 12, which is normally like fantastic for any defense. But then when you have an elite defense, every once in a while, you'll put up that 15, that 18, that 20, that 25. And as soon as the other person looks down and sees 25 on the defense, they know they lost 100% of the time. Because it doesn't even matter what the rest of the team did. You look down and you see a 25 on D, you're like, oh, shit. Chances are you lost. So, I tried picking them up, but obviously I'm already 10th on the wire every fucking week. You're usually 9th. So usually you and me have to wait for the scraps, or we're the ones looking for the same type of pieces. So, and then also, too, I can't carry another defense if I have a hole somewhere or someone's on a bye. It's like, oh, have this other defense that's just sitting here for me, or I don't have anybody to be my, RB2 or something, Like sometimes you got to sacrifice. But I rostered them earlier in the year. So I knew the value. And if I could have hung on to him, I would have hung on to him all year. Yeah. Well, it's going to be pretty much you and me moving forward. And then, like I said, there'll be three other people competing for those last two spots, even if you end up beating me next week. So, but hopefully, I get Montgomery and Jay Jetta back sooner than later. So that way we can actually, have a fair matchup. And in all honesty, well, we already played once. We played at the beginning of the year before your team was really put together and I beat you. But I would like to play you full strength, and maybe we'll get that in the championship because it's like we're playing each other in the first week where I beat you pretty easily, but your team wasn't built the way that it was. But once you lost, you were able to pick up some studs based off me beating you in week one. And then obviously you started to turn it around. You got an amazing team top to bottom. And then now we're going to play each other with both, Mahomes and Hurts. And you have more guys on a bye than I do. So it's not really showing or showcasing like our best abilities of having all our guys healthy. And then we make the choice on if we take chances in the lineup or not. So I feel that if that does happen, it's going to have to happen in the championship game or in the playoffs, in the semis. So, and then we'll see who the best one is. And a little bit will be luck, and also depending on if you got more green matchups than me, and if your guys hit. And normally the team that's got the better running backs overall usually makes it to the championship or wins it all. So. But if I can get Jay Jetta to come back healthy, then I'll even out with you. Because my wide receivers, when they're on, I can match your production with your running backs. No one else in the league can. I got three guys that could put up 90. You got three guys that could put up 80 or 90 as well. It's like if all three guys hit, 25, 30, 35, 40, like, it's possible, to have one of those monster weeks where you get almost 100 points out of like three running backs or three wide receivers, but no one else in the league has got that depth like us that has those heavy hitters. So mine have just been fucking banged up for a chunk of the year. Come on, Wilson. They don't have him. They have him. They have him a third now. I think. Let me look to see what they have. They have you number one. They have Fo King 3, and they have me 2. Based off our rosters, projecting like who's going to finish the best at the end of the year. I've been sitting in number 1 all year, and I've only been down to number 2 for like a week where I'm at right now, but it's deserved. If I go down to 2 or 3, no big deal. Floater, oh, incomplete. I think the app likes our benches better than his. We have more depth, so I think that's why they like our teams more. I mean, he's got a pretty damn good team too, though. I mean, when the guys are hitting. But again, that's all about if the guys are hitting. But his guys didn't hit on you this week. Jets with the punt. Yeah, and I let him have Stroud. I had Stroud on my team for like the longest time, and I didn't want to give him up, but I have to make adjustments when injuries happen. If I didn't have Montgomery and Jay Jetta injured, CJ would have been on my team the whole year. So now I'm forced to carry 3 quarterbacks because of you guys, because I can't trust Patrick Mahomes. At least you guys have guys that you can trust. I don't. So now I'm going to have to bounce around with 3 quarterbacks and pray that between Mahomes, Sam Howell, Kyler, or someone else, that I can hang around with Jalen numbers or whoever the hell we play against in the playoffs. But I don't trust my quarterback at all. Like if I can get more money and more points out of Sam Howell than Mahomes, that's not good. Not based on what I drafted him for. Herbert, screen pass. Oh, baby. Gerald Everett, first down, Chargers. You still have plenty. There's still plenty there that you can grab, that you could get, 17 to 25 points. And honestly, your team, even with key guys out, like Jalen and Kelsey and Waddle and a few others, with the bench pieces you have, and if you make a couple pickups, because you have to pick up a quarterback and a tight end, because I've already spied on your team. Regardless of that, I mean, if you end up getting some pieces, you can still beat me. 100%. So my team is not full strength, and it hasn't been full strength since Jetta and Montgomery went out. Like I was. You remember at the beginning of the year, I was projected for 130 to 140 every week, and I was the number one projected every week. Now I'm fucking projected for like 110s, 114s, 117s. That shit is embarrassing. I'm like 30 points below my projected every week with my guys hurt. But what can you do? Yeah, a lot of y'all are picking up the pieces that I've had. Like he picked up Ramondre Stevenson, and then he's had some good games, and then bad games, and then he had some good games again. And that was my one mistake this year. I should have been more patient and just put Ramondre Stevenson on my bench and just never touched him. But the Patriot offense was so bad, I just didn't know if they were going to change their kind of philosophy on how they were going to do things with Bill. But that was my one mistake this year that would have given me more running back depth at this point. Because then if I would have been able to have Ramondre and then Najee at the flex and once in a while, and then also have Montgomery, then I would be not as good as you, but I would be closer to you than I am right now. Montgomery could give me 10 to 30. Najee can give me 10 to 15. And then if I had Ramondre, sometimes, 5 to 8, but when he hits, 10 to 30. So that was my bad. But again, sometimes I can't keep all these guys. CJ Stroud, wish he was still on my roster. Ramondre Stevenson, wish he was still on my roster. But I know as soon as I drop someone, people notice and they're going to scoop them up because they know I don't pick up, dog shit players. I'm only going to pick up, like if someone is rostered on the team, that means I think so highly of them. And then if I drop them, it doesn't mean that I think that they necessarily suck or had a bad game. It does sometimes, but sometimes I just have to make room and it hurts. It's like ripping my heart out, dropping a guy that I know that if I drop him, someone's going to pick him up and use that player against me and beat me. That's my worst fear. Like knowing that, like I don't want to get rid of this guy, but I have no choice. I need to be able to get points, somewhere for depth, And it's like, oh, carry this extra player, and I can't even use them, but I'm just trying to block someone, and then I get 0 points on one of my spots, or I don't feel a need, Sometimes you got to make those tough decisions. So injuries suck, but also injuries suck for your first two picks in the draft. So if you have, first round picks, second round picks, sometimes you can't recover. Because normally those are the best elite players, the first 20 players that go off the board, those are some of the best players on planet Earth. Mad fantasy points. I mean, if you get picked in the first 20 picks, that means you have the ability to get to 20 to 45 points. And then if that goes out of your lineup, how do you replace that? A lot of times you don't. Play action fake. Herbert. Nice hit. Yeah. Also, too, in my fantasy, my strategy is a little bit different than everyone else. Most people stick to superstars. For me, I like to take chances and I like to be able to give people opportunities to shine. Like normally, I would have them on my team, but I never would start them unless it was an emergency. But sometimes I'll throw guys in the lineup just to see if they can do me right. Oh, it's 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Yeah. Well, that's why I didn't draft Saquon this year because I got him last year, and he normally isn't healthy back-to-back years. So if someone does good one year, doesn't mean that they're going to be good again, especially in the running back position. But yeah, I mean, he was money for me last year. I mean, hell, I had three of the top four running backs last year. I had Saquon, Chubb, and Jacobs. So I was running everybody in the league. I went 13-1, easy. Nobody could fuck with those three guys. And then there was weeks where I was getting like 80 to 90 out of the three guys. It was wild. But that's not going to happen every year, right? Because imagine if I had those three running backs this year. Saquon, not doing a whole lot. Nick Chubb, out for the year. Josh Jacobs, not getting the football the same way as he was before, but now with the coaching change, I think he will. But it's like if you pick up the same guys from the year before, you can have dramatic changes where you can be, oh, I got 3 of the top 4 running backs in the league, and then the next year you're going to have maybe 3 of the top 20 or worse, depending on if they get hurt or what the situation is. So even if it's a big name, I mean, running backs are just, man, there's a dime a dozen, but they get hurt so quick. Good punt by Scott. All right, I need a jet touchdown, damn it. Reflect with another fiver. Someone doesn't want your boy to be homeless. Someone wants to be able to feed my dog. Appreciate you. But I watched that Seahawks game, bro. And like I said, I know sometimes, I'm going to be critical and I'm going to just keep it real. If things are good, things are good. If things need to improve, things need to improve. But I think that the game was almost over before it started because they started to fade this guy right here. And you cannot fade one of the top 10 running backs in the NFL when he's healthy. Honestly, if you look at Breece Hall and then you look at Kenneth Walker III, I would rather have Kenneth Walker III, and I think Breece Hall is pretty fucking good. So if I think that both of those guys are similar, and I would rather go here, you got to treat him like he's a top 5, top 10 running back. Yes, the Ravens defense is number 1, but you can't be like, oh, woe is me. They got a number 1 defense. We're just not going to try. Fuck that. You gotta be able to go towards him and give him 15 to 20 looks. But once you get behind, then the script changes. Then you got to be able to pass the ball more. And then once that happens and the defense knows you're passing, then the running back, they're already down 14, 17, 20. They're not going to give him those same looks. Not those big third down runs, to open up, play action on the next series of downs. It's like they know if he gets a run, it might be on first down, but it's like for a couple yards at that point. And then the defense knows what they're doing, and then they're passing on second and third down, and then he doesn't even get the damn ball. So I'm hoping that the Hawks will understand that the line isn't where it needs to be. And it's intimidating going against one of the best defenses in the league, Ravens. But I feel if they would have not given up on Kenneth Walker, they would have not got blown out by that much. I think they would have put up at least 17. If they would have been able to, fight that momentum and believe in your guy. That he's not, Marshawn Lynch, but he's not a scrub either. He's not Penny. That was one thing. But again, sometimes you give a guy, 5 to 10 looks, and if he gets stuffed, 10 runs for like 20 yards, I get it. Sometimes you're like, shit, they're really good. But the soon as you give up, and you go one-sided football, it's over. Because then the other defense knows exactly what you're going to do. So, yeah. Yeah, I agree. And that shows there's needs to be more work on that offensive line. I'm hoping one day that we can get 3 Pro Bowlers on the line like how the Cowboys used to have. I want the Hawks to have that. A center and then a left tackle and like a right guard or a right tackle, left tackle, center, or you can have a guard sprinkled in if you want. But I want that. Like my ideal for the Seahawks would be after Geno, get the center, Pro Bowl, All Pro, get the left tackle, and then get like a right guard. So that way you can pull left or right, and it doesn't matter. You don't have to have Hutchinson and Walter Jones or Sean Alexander, and you just go left 100 times a game because you know you're going to automatically get 7 yards, even if you don't do anything, because you got 2 Hall of Famers, on the left side. So that was the best since the Hawks have been, on that O line. Hutchinson, Steve, Vikings, Hawks, and then Walter Brad. Turbo. Plus, we got to give Lamar credit. I mean, Lamar is playing like an MVP candidate this year. Last couple of years he didn't, but this year he's going back, going to Mark Andrews heavy, and he'll dance when he needs to. You know what I'm saying? But it seems like he actually is trying to put in a little bit more time to go through the progressions because he knows OBJ is out there and they're boys. Zay Flowers, and, you got these pieces there other than Andrews. You already know you're going to get something with Gus Bus and Justice Hill and any other running back that they decide to give the fucking football to. They're very deep like Cleveland. Like they literally can get a guy off the street and they're like, get in there. And then the guy gets like 90 yards like every fucking time. Like Browns and Ravens have unlimited running backs and it never ends. 3rd down and 3. Uh-oh. Fumble. Jesus. And almost another turnover. I appreciate you. Bang, bang, bang. Boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. Boom, boom. Appreciate you. But I know a lot of the Hawks fans or other the haters are going to be like, "Oh, frauds! They're not good enough. They're really, really good." You know what I mean? And like I said, I think that even if you said the statement to some of these haters that if the Hawks played the Ravens at home, that they could do that, they'd be like, "No, Lamar, Lamar, Lamar," because they're biased and they only want to root for Lamar and the Ravens, and then that defense. There definitely is a little West Coast, bias against the teams out here for whatever reason. You know, like, I'm sorry that we don't win championships every fucking year, but that doesn't mean that we're crappy. Sometimes it's hard to win on the road, and you're playing another top four team in the other conference. Because game flow would have been much different. And it might have not been like, let's say the Hawks play the Ravens at home. It probably isn't 37-3, but it could be something like 37-17, where Lamar gets a little bit. Maybe Andrews gets a tutty, Gus the bus, and their defense plays pretty good. But there could be a game script that plays out like that, 37-10, 37-17. And if you don't think so, then you don't watch Hawk football. So, you're always going to get that, you know, the bias for the more popular player like Lamar. Even with the Jets doing shitty right now, I'm down 14-0. I still got 7 points. I just got to hope that the Jets can get me 10 or more. But I don't like seeing low numbers in fantasy. If I have stuff that's under 10, I am pissed. I don't even care if I win. I'd rather take the L. If I can't get 10 points in every position or higher, I might as well just take the L. That's how I really feel because I'm so competitive. Or if I leave shit on the bench, like that is so fucking unacceptable to me. It's like I can't even enjoy a fucking win in fantasy unless I do it clean and I do everything as perfectly as I can. Then I can enjoy it. But if not, then I can't enjoy it. I can't do it. I can't do it. But since we're going to do the Kraken tomorrow, I know the Kraken's going to win. So I'm excited about that. Then AEW, I'm going to go to that with Preston. So no stream on Wednesday. And then we'll do Thursday Night Football, which will be Panthers and Bears. And it probably won't be as exciting as this game, but it actually will have something. There'll be some big plays that happen, guaranteed. 100%. Like, it'll be better than people think. People think it'll be the worst game of the year. It won't be. There'll be some magic in that game, 100%. Let me know what you want to do for some Hawk photos. You got any names, old school or new school that you want? I just wanted to give a little Kenneth Walker love. He's a stud. Imagine if he had really good offensive linemen, and then his numbers would even go up higher, and then he would be probably considered, probably top 5 running back. It wouldn't be that crazy to think if the line improved, he would be putting up top 5 numbers. It's just that he's not doing it yet. So, but imagine if he starts putting up top 5 numbers without an offensive line. Then you start getting a couple guys, and then shit's going to go through the roof where he could be like a top 3 back. That's when the Hawks are going to be rolling. Where we can get him to be a top 5 running back, have a top 10 offensive line, right? Improve that defense, make it top 10. Stiff arm for days. Pow, pow, pow. Yeah, yeah, I was watching that Mostert game, and it's funny too because when you see players or teams, like if anyone sees the Bucks and we lose, they think of me, or if you see players that someone has, you're like, oh. As soon as I saw, I'm always looking at everyone. I probably look at your guys' fantasy teams more than you guys do, so I already know what you guys got and what's on the bench and what's upcoming and whatnot. But yeah, definitely a lot of pieces that underwhelm. But with the 23 on defense with Cleveland, that was beautiful. You can get excited about that. Like, it's one thing if Kelce gets 10 and then you get like a 12 on the defense. You're like, cool, it evens out. But, since you did have that shitty day, at least the Cleveland defense didn't give you 10 or 12 and then you got 4 with Kelce. They gave you 23. So, in essence, they gave you 10 with Kelce, 12 or 13 with the defense if you want to spread the points out. So, that's kind of where my mind goes. But, anytime a defense does some shit like that, and you did a really good job with the kicker, I tried getting Aubrey, and I tried Maher and Moody, and I was hoping that those guys would stick. They didn't. But, yeah, I tried to get him as well, and that's a kicker that you can have for the rest of the year. So sometimes you get lucky, and it just sticks, and it works out, and it did for you. Oh, sack him. It's 12 noon. You know what time it is. Time for a sack lunch. I'm my boy, J Herb. Yum, 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 yum. Like, I don't want Herbert to get hurt, but I need my Jets points to get me some defense. Give me some fantasy. Give me some fantasy. If that means Herbert has to throw to pick six and my Jet defense can go up to like 15, yes, please. Yes. Yeah. Not everyone sees talent the same way. And remember, with Pete, Pete picks his guys. He doesn't pick the most talented. He doesn't pick the most athletic. The guy that's rated the highest by other people. He picks whoever the hell he wants, even if it's a guy that might be not even picked 30 picks later. He picks his guys. And most of the time in the past, it was like the fourth through seventh rounders went through the park, the Richard Shermans and, guys that, definitely went above and beyond and turned into Hall of Famers. And then he had a couple years where it wasn't very good. And then these last 2 years, I thought it's been very, very good. Like you got back to back A drafts, and you see the difference. But also on top of that, with the 37-3 loss, even with the 2 drafts, this team has got a long way to go before they can get to the Super Bowl and win it, or even get to the NFC Championship game and feel good about it. You can get lucky and overachieve, but I know, everyone knows the defense needs improvement, but they've improved a lot this year. They actually are very good compared to what they used to be. But the number one concern is that O-line. And once that gets firmed up and then a backup for Geno to figure out who's going to be the person taking over after him, things will start falling into place. But the key might be having 2 more good drafts. If Pete can have 4 solid drafts, by the time that happens, that probably is the NFC Championship game vibe, like at that point. So, yeah, Max Unger. The Max Unger thing was one of the dumbest things that they ever did. That guy was like Pro Bowl, like stud. He was great at Oregon. He was great everywhere he went. Underrated. That was very head scratching. Like, acting like that position doesn't matter. Like, don't they realize centers, guards, and tackles are hard to come by? There's a lot of receivers and running backs and shit out there. You can have these pretty pieces, but you need the hogs and the dogs up front. Well, like Sarah won 2 weeks in a row. Sarah got off the schneid. If we could have got Sarah off the schneid earlier, she'd have like 4 wins and would have a chance to come back and make the playoffs. It just was too much to lose and then not enough depth. But you'll be better next year. You're more prepared. You know what to do. We're not going to give you bad advice. And obviously, one year, it didn't burn you. Nice spin move. One year, you didn't really touch your team that much, and you were blessed with no injuries, and you were able to have an awesome record and win like 11, 12 games and only lose like 1 or 2, and then be right there with me. And then you did the same strategy this year, and then the complete opposite happened. You couldn't even get your first win until a couple weeks ago. So very drastic different results. Being a first or second in the league, with only like a loss or 2 the whole year, or can't even get a damn win. It sucks when people get hurt. Shotgun set. Oh, little check down. I did see the Mariners thing. We already got some in single A, double A, and triple A with Harry Ford also. So, I mean, if Murphy's gone, then they're just going to do Cal Raleigh and then at some point Harry Ford. I don't know what year that'll be, if that'll be next year or the year after, but I am intrigued to see Harry Ford out there. I think that he can give us a little magic. I don't think he's going to be necessarily Buster Posey, but if they want to move Cal to DH, if they don't believe that he can do the catching duties, or whatever they want to do, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I definitely want to keep Murphy still a part of the roster. I don't want to be like, bye. It's like, dude, you were clutch, and I like his energy and his passion, his beady eyeballs. You can't replicate that in the clubhouse. someone that's got that passion, that's funny, that's gonna bring the lift to the room when we're fucking on like a 5-game losing streak. You just look over at Tom Murphy, he's making a weird face. Things get a little bit better. You can't replace guys like that. So tough. We'll see how things go next year. I know. I wouldn't have traded him. He's one of our best assets. You can use him at catcher. You can use him at DH. Situational baseball. I mean, there's so many places that you could have inserted him in the lineup, and he's a good contact hitter. Every once in a while, some magic with the home runs, right? And it's catcher, not too bad. Sometimes better than Cal. And I'm a big Cal guy. You know that. I like Cal more than you do, right? But with the Murphy, we have to also like players, have a bias. But if someone else is a lower name, Tom Murphy, and he's hitting better RBI, and he's just doing everything better, I can't just be like, oh, Cal. Cal's the best because I got his autograph and I love him, and this and that. It's like I got to keep it real. And Cal might be the more popular player, but Murphy fucking outplayed him a lot, and I can own up to that. That's why I don't want to see Murphy go. And I know you don't want to see him go for that reason too, because most people, unless you're a diehard Mariner, you realize the impact of Murphy. But if you're a fair weather Mariner fan, you have no fucking idea. You're like, who's this Murphy guy? You probably don't even know who the fuck he is. So, yeah, I know. Yeah, if I would have saw that, I would have messaged you. You already know if I would have saw a name that was in our starting lineup or one of our key backups. Oh, all the messages are going to all the Mariner buddies at that point. All right, 47-yard attempt. Kick is up. And it's good. 14-3. Let's get some Seahawk photos for Reflect. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Michael Penix Jr. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Baker keeps losing game after game after game. And then the Buccaneers select Michael Penix Jr. O-Dog buys the jersey. First time ever buying a quarterback jersey since Josh Freeman. It's been a minute. I go 15 years between buying jerseys for a quarterback. Michael Penix Jr. At number 9, woo! You got it, brother. Overrated, sister. Soto, as some would call Bozo, but I think it just depends on the attitude of certain guys and whatnot. But he might be the most overrated, like big name superstar in the league. Sometimes he plays great, but there's a lot of strikeouts involved. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like I feel like there's for the amount of money that you pay, I think I would rather go for someone lower, with a different type of personality that would fit better with most teams. I'm not really a big Juan Soto guy. I respect his game, but I wouldn't want him on the Mariners. Brother. Ducks will kick the Huskies' butt. Yeah. Oh my God, you have no idea. Like he's my favorite player in college football. Like I like Johnny Football. I like Michael Vick. I mean, there hasn't. Those are the last two quarterbacks, and not knowing like that probably it wasn't going to work out on the NFL level for those guys. I figured like Michael Vick wouldn't be like Steve Young, but he would be like the closest thing that we've seen since like a decent quarterback since like the 80s and 90s, kind of like a Randall Cunningham lefty type of player. But Johnny, I already knew was a partier, and I knew that wasn't going to pan out. But he was must-see TV at A&M with Mike Evans. But, I mean, Michael Penix Jr. is something else. And I did actually go back and look at the stats of Bo Nix. And compared to Mariota and with Herbert, with the same amount of games, its completion percentage is actually much higher. So I think that Bo Nix might be able to pan out in the NFL, more than likely as a backup. But if a team does give him a shot and they have an offensive line and a decent coach, there's a small chance, maybe 10%, that Bo could go in right away and help a team win. Kind of like a Baker, but maybe better than Baker, like a better, higher ceiling Baker Mayfield. Sometimes Baker's good, but sometimes bad and holds on to the ball too long. But Bo, I think, like he has a higher potential than Baker, but similar style of play, but better. So Shedeur Sanders, Drake May, Caleb. I mean, if Caleb cried, after that UW loss, what he's going to do when we whip that ass at home at Austin and we win by 14, 17, 20, if we do, what happens then? Nail polish needs a new change at that point, Because, I mean, like, you can be the Heisman winner and you can still be the first pick in the draft, but don't you dare think that, like, that the Trojans are, like, the top dog. Like, when Oregon and the Huskies are good, you'll figure it out. If you're in denial mode and think that they're not good, well, you'll find out. Because when we're good, we're really fucking good. And I don't give a shit who they have, and especially if they got problems on defense, there's no chance that they're going to beat a team like the Huskies and the Ducks when we're rolling. I mean, they were normally the top dog, but sometimes you got to have that harsh reality where maybe you end up being third, fourth, or fifth. You're not going to be in first place every year. And now we're all going to the Big Ten. There's going to be a reality where you might be third place or worse. You got to understand Michigan and Ohio State are there, Penn State's there, Oregon and Washington are there, USC's there. No guarantee that you're going to be good. So it's going to bring everything up to another level. So Kryleb, ooh, that's tough. Yeah, I honestly would be the most excited that I've ever been if they actually do draft him, because then, like, even if he doesn't pan out to what I want him to, just to be able to go through the growing pains with a player and just like and enjoy for the first time having a franchise QB, I think it would be cool. I've never had one. I don't consider Tom Brady and Jeff Garcia for a very short period of time, Brad Johnson, fucking Chris Sims, Josh Freeman. I had Vinny Testaverde, Doug Williams. That was nice, but it's like before I was really watching them. So it's like I didn't get to experience that. I want to be able to have a guy that we draft and then I have him for 10 or 15 years straight, and then he's good enough where he's not looking over his shoulder and he's my, Tom Brady. He's my, Peyton Manning, my Joe Montana. Like, it's the guy, my Dan Marino. I want my quarterback. So maybe Bo Nix or Michael Penix Jr. will be on the Bucs, I hope. And Michael will have a better chance to pan out than Bo on that team. You never know. Maybe Bo will surprise everyone, and he'll actually be just as good as Caleb, Drake May, and Quinn Ewers, and Shedeur Sanders, and Michael Penix Jr. Maybe Bo ends up being one of the better ones out of those big name guys, even though his name is always hated on and he's always considered, sixth or seventh or eighth. But some people have him at number one, number two, and if we keep winning, who knows what happens for the Heisman and whatnot. But I can't wait for that Ducks Huskies rematch. It's the best that both teams have been in a minute, and together, pretty cool. I guarantee he wouldn't do the bowl game because he already knows that in his mind he thinks he's number one or number two. He's not going to get an ACL tear and then all of a sudden get lower money and all that. So there's a 0% chance I would say that. And their team isn't undefeated going into the playoff. if he was in the playoff and they were the first seed in that Pac-12, he would play. Since now they're already statistically out of it, 0% chance he plays in the bowl game, like zero. You know, but the completion percentage worries me about him, and that's why I feel there's going to be other quarterbacks just as good as him or better because their completion percentage will be better. He'll have the athleticism, but some players might be smarter than him, and they might have a better arm than him. He might have better legs, but if they're smarter and they know where to throw the football and their completion percentage is 10 to 20 points higher, then there's a chance that that player, Drake May, Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr., could be better than the famous name or like a Shedeur Sanders. So we'll see. But it's a very deep class. And I know Daniels and LSU and Florida State got one too. So there's a lot of quarterbacks out there that are kind of like on the outside. We don't really know how good they're going to be, but we're probably going to go 9 deep this year. And then out of the 9, 2 elite, 3 starters that are above average, and then anything after that is a blessing. So delicious. Yeah, but you know how people love to be able to hate. Hating is in everybody's DNA. It's like it's so much easier to hate than to be a good person. You know, it's easy to be a hater. It takes effort, to look out for other people and to be a good person. Especially if you've been done wrong and you still continue to be a good person. That's what really shows the maturity, in people. It's like I got hurt, so I'm going to hurt other people. That's what a lot of people do. Can't be like that. Not a good way to live life. Come on, Jets. I need some fantasy points, baby. Fly, Eagles fly on the road to victory. Fly, Eagles fly. Hit them down on the hit them low, hit them high, and watch them Eagles fly. Fly, Eagles fly on the road to victory. Eagles, Eagles. My boy, what's good? You're the best team in football. You're good. Dallas Goedert, fractured forearm. Fuck it. Surgery. Get ready for the playoffs. Other guys will step up. But that definitely hurts the team, but still the best team in football. Come on, Zach, get rid of it. 12 noon, you know what time it is? Time for a sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Who is that? Sean Merriman? Junior Seau? Oh, come on, Jets. They're like, God, can we have Aaron Rodgers? Every Jet game would have been like must-see TV if Rodgers didn't get hurt. And it's like, I didn't like him on the Packers, but I don't mind him on the Jets. It's like same thing with like Brady. Like everyone's like, oh, Brady on the Patriots, boo. But then when Brady went to the Bucs, some people still hated him, but others were like, you know what? You don't really annoy me as much anymore. That was kind of the outside perception and whatnot. Still, it's weird to me, as a defensive guy that somehow we were able to have Bruce Arians and we got Gronk and Tom Brady to actually come over and win a championship at Tampa Bay. Like it's still to this day is like wild. And then fucking crazy ass, we fly like a butterfly, sting like AB. But if we didn't have Antonio, right, we wouldn't have won the Super Bowl or got to the Super Bowl. So he was instrumental as well as drafting Tristan Wirfs and Antoine Winfield Jr. If we did not do that, we don't get to that point either. 100%, baby. Hey, this guy, Jalen Carter, just got to get everyone up to speed. Defense wins championships. You play defense this year, you win the championship. You play like last year, you're going to lose again. So, you got to get sack lunches, got to get picks. You do that, you win 100%. And the nice thing about Hurts, he doesn't look like he's slowing down anytime soon. Like he's going to be good for how long? Like I'm a little jealous, but also too, You have to have a good owner. You have to have a good GM. You have to have a good head coach. You have to have a good O line. You have to have a good D line. You have to have a good defense. You have to have good coaching. You have to have good play calling. You have to have good depth. Oh, let's bring in AJ Brown. Let's draft Devontae Smith. It's like you have to have all of these things fall into place. And usually with the Eagles and Niners, they're run the right way. Same thing like with the Chiefs. So that's why those three teams are typically good every year because it starts at the top. It's easy for the Chiefs, the Eagles, and the Niners to have success based off the pieces they have in management and ownership. But this guy right here, he's special. I'm jealous. You know what? I should have drafted him. I should have, I should have took him first. If I have the opportunity, I'll get him next year or the year after. He's stud. Good with his legs. He's a leader. He's not a fucking crybaby. He takes responsibility. He's a team guy first. It's not about Jalen. It's about the fucking Eagles. Good relationship with the teammates. Him and AJ got the connection. Like they literally got everything that should check off the boxes. And I was dumb enough to think that without Bieniemy and Juju, that they were going to still figure it out and they were going to be fine. And I was wrong. So you got to go to the you got to go with the team that has those reliable pieces. And normally, Mahomes to Kelsey is going to be good as Jalen to AJ Brown. The difference is there's a lot more that Jalen can go to. He's got weapons on weapons on weapons that are reliable, good pieces. Like Devontae Smith would be a one on any team in the NFL, or a really really good number two, like a Chris Godwin. And Goddard is a good tight end, awesome offensive line, good defensive line, and that's really what makes the Eagles is the O-line and the D-line. If their O-line stunk and their D-line stunk, we're not talking about the Eagles at all. We're just saying that they're a good team that's going to go 10-7, but they'll probably win a game or they'll get bumped in the first round. But since that O-line and D-line and that depth is so good, we're like, damn, this is the best team in football. Best team in football. Little check down. Oh, AJ is great this year. Statistically, top two with Tyreek. So, and I know some people at this point would be like, maybe I would take AJ because it seems like he's his numbers a lot of times are going to be consistent for each game, but sometimes Tyreek will have that 45 and maybe Brown has the 22. I guess it just depends on if you're okay with a 7 once in a while with Tyreek or a 10. You're going to have a few of those, but AJ does as well. We'll have that off one, but you know how often, like, who do you trust more, Jalen or Tua at quarterback? And I think that kind of answers it. Tua just throws up Hail Marys, and Tyreek will go up and get it, because he's fucking Tyreek. But AJ Brown is like implemented in that offense where he's going to be getting like 10 or 12 looks consistently and red zone looks, and he's the man. So he left the Titans and was like, oh, Jalen, Eagles, we're about to win a Super Bowl. Yeah, secondary needs work. Linebackers need work. Secondary needs work. That's your weak spot. So, oh yeah, Swift is awesome. And like I said, and they always have 3 or 4 running backs. So it's like you got Swift, but then you also got a few others that you can get in there as well, like Boston Scott. He's like the bruiser guy. The third down back that you need a yard. You can go to him, or you can put him in early, and then he can maybe get a draw for like 10, like unsuspectedly. Kenneth Gainwell. He's kind of like a Miles Sanders. Every once in a while, he does good, but it really depends on the offensive line. So, and when they won the Super Bowl, they sprinkled on a little Jay Ajayi, and that gave them something that they didn't have. So, when you can go and rotate 3-4 backs, and have depth on the line, you're so more versatile. And the brotherly shove and the tush push is undefeated, and that probably will help them win the Super Bowl and the NFC Championship because they're going to execute that play. It's either going to score a touchdown or give them a clutch first down to win the game or something like that. 14-3 Chargers. Minute 14 left. Come on, Chargers. Give me a fucking pick. Oh, I almost got it. What happened to my hands? Yeah, he's got a lingering injury, and as long as it's not serious, they're fine. Jalen can have an average game, and then the O-line and the defense can make up for it. Not all the time, but they can do it more than any other team. He doesn't have to throw for 4 touchdowns and 300 yards for the Eagles to win. I mean, there'll be games where maybe he'll run one in and maybe he'll throw for 1 and he'll have 195 yards, but sometimes that's enough. Maybe Swift scores 3 times. Maybe the defense scores. Maybe special team scores. Like that's when you know you got a complete team. Pick that off. Penny Hardaway, Little Penny. Yeah, it wasn't a good fit from the very start. Every Hawk fan saw it, but it just you got to support him for as long as he's there, and then once he's gone, then you can move on. But I think the writing was on the wall with him. That was the only kind of bad pick, that kind of hurt you guys. Get him, defense. Oh, dog, he's a fantasy. Need to keep the Chargers under 21. I know Rashad Penny. All right, I got to go grab my Snapple here. A Snapple. All right, shotgun set. Wilson, floater. It would be at the end of the year. Torn Achilles. Normally, you're out for the whole year. It takes a long time to recover. He's already not even on crutches. He's walking with that new procedure. So, I mean, if they're in the playoff hunt, I mean, there's a chance that he could, based off his rehab, because that's all he's doing. He's rehabbing like literally every day, like a madman. So, if you're rehabbing like you're trying to come back this year, then if they make the playoffs as a wild card, there might be a slight chance that he could be out there, but they're not going to, put him out there early. I mean, especially if he's thinking about coming back next year, you don't want to aggravate it and then have him miss the first part of next year if he's planning on coming back for that year too. So if he wants to play for a couple years, I mean, if you have Aaron Rodgers on this Jets team, oh, you're definitely a playoff team, and you could overachieve and make the AFC Championship game. You got one of the top 10 defenses, sometimes top 5, and then you probably have a top 10 offense. Maybe higher depending on how good Rodgers plays with all those weapons. Like, it's kind of crazy to think one player different and Rodgers instead of Zach Wilson, and then you go from a team that can win, maybe 7 or 8 games, or a team that could maybe win 10 to 14, and then maybe make the AFC Championship game. Hell, maybe the Super Bowl. Just with one player, even though he's old as shit. He's on that witchcraft, bro. It's like, want to do a procedure that's never been done on planet Earth? Let's do it. Let's do it. Make my legs fucking robots. Mechanical legs. I'll tell you what, though, I've never seen anyone with a torn Achilles walking after like 2 months. Not like that, with no crutches at all, with a normal walk, no gimp, no limp. You just got to reboot. They want a flag there. Jets will get something going in the second half. But like I said, they're so limited with that offense. It's like, what do the Jets fans think? It's like they literally need like 2 to 3 interceptions. They need to get a fumble or a pick six, or they need to get a punt return or a kick return for a touchdown, or they have no shot. Like they have to have an amazing defensive game and hope that that can provide something on special teams and defense. Because you're probably only going to max out with one touchdown or two at the most out of Zach Wilson. And then maybe a Brees can get one or two. But what are the chances that you end up having him throw to and Brees to get to? I mean, based on how they've been playing, it's not likely. But if Rodgers was playing, I mean, God, at fantasy points everywhere. Garrett Wilson's the one that suffered the most this year. I mean, Rodgers to Wilson, I mean, he would have been putting up like Devontae Adams, like it would have been big. He'd be putting up a bunch of 20s and 30s in fantasy for sure. Like an Amon-Ra St. Brown type of guy. All right, Matt. Natural medicine. Natural. I mean, he is unconventional, whatever he wants to do, as long as it's not going to hurt his body, long term, and maybe he can play for a couple more years. I'm all for that. I didn't like him on Green Bay, but he's more tolerable on the Jets. Like I kind of like him on the Jets. I didn't like him on Green Bay, but I kind of like it going to the kind of dog shit team like the underdog. Trying to make them a winner, like Brady did with Tampa and whatnot. But later, Matt. Matt needs to go eat some Hawaiian food. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but like I can still enjoy games like this because a lot of times if you end up ignoring these games, and I don't give a shit about this game or that game, and then all of a sudden it's the blink of an eye, and you go from September, and then it's all playoffs, and then all of a sudden it's like we're waiting for the draft and like free agency, and you're waiting like 6-7 months and bitching and complaining about football every day for like 180 days in a row. And then all of a sudden it comes around and people like, take it for granted. Got to be able to soak in as much football as you can. And the more football you watch, the smarter fantasy player you'll be. The more reading you'll do, the smarter you'll be. The more dominant you'll be, the more reflect you will be. 55-yard attempt. Staley's like, oh, it's 75 yards. Let's do it. Like, if there's going to be a coach that needs to be fired today, it's him. But like, who are you going to be able to get? Like, if you were able to get Sean Payton, that would have been good for Herbert. Like, we need like a quarterback guru to mentor Herbert. Otherwise, he's just going to be stuck in mediocrity or above average play, or like good enough to get to the playoffs, like the Cowboys, but lose all the time. Like they literally are the Dallas Cowboys of the AFC, and I don't want that. I want him to be able to be like Burrow and at least get there once or twice, and hopefully like lose one, win one. But he'll never have that happen on this team. Kick is up and it's good. Drilled it. Like some of the pieces are there, but you just got to have better things than like shiny rims and a spoiler and a good, CD player and leather seats. Like you got to be able to have a good engine. You got to have good body work. You got to have those other things, good tires. Because if you only have a little bit of the formula, it ends up underwhelming more because you have all these pieces that are in the spotlight all the time, and then the same shit happens every year. Herbert, you got Mike Williams, and you got Eckler, Keenan Allen, like all these amazing players. Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, Derwin James, Asante Samuel Jr. It's like, okay, cool, but what about the other guys? And that's the problem. But most importantly, ownership and the coach and the play calling. Like if you had something better there, even with the injury curse, you could actually win a couple playoff games. But it's like they have so many things going against them. Tough being a Charger fan. I got a couple. My boy Joey is like one of my really, really good friends. One of my best buds. He's been a Charger fan since he was a little kid. Like Marty Schottenheimer went like 14-2 and they fired him, and then now they're cursed with Anthony Lynn and Staley. Like, Jesus Christ. Not good. They need better. They need another quarterback. But again, they're trying to, it's like they're halfway trying to make the playoffs, and then they're halfway trying to like lose every game. You know what I mean? So you got to make a decision. Like, are you actually trying to win? If you're trying to win, you can't have him in there. You should have stuck with your quarterback from last year. That was if you would have had him. I mean, how many games do you win at this point? You're winning more than you have now. Oh, swag, swag, swag. Megan with a fiver. Hey, hey, fam. I'm doing the Kraken for you tomorrow. We're doing Kraken. Release the Kraken against the Coyotes. The Coyotes. And I'm doing the stream. I'm not doing a stream on Wednesday. And then we're doing Bears Panthers on Thursday. But I look as like NBA or Kraken. Oh, Kraken. You already know what it is. I miss it. Bang, bang, bang. And if I do the Kraken, we're gonna win. Boom chakalaka, 100%. Boom, boom. ESP. Believe me. Go Hawks. Go Kraken. Let's go. Appreciate you. What would you like to see for photos? Both of you. Put your boy to work. You know, I like working until we get to a point where we have so many people demanding things and I can only do so much. But I have a couple things like prepped here. You just came in good time. Give the ball to Kenneth Walker. Oh, la, 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 la. Gotta beef up that line. Beef it. We gotta beef it. I'm excited. Yeah. But like I said, I always will keep it 100 with every fan base. I don't need to sugarcoat anything. When things are good, you'll know it. When things are bad, you'll know it. When things need to be improved, you'll know it. But it's like I'm never saying things that due to hate or, I'm just most people would have lost in that scenario. But again, what most Hawk fans are failing to realize, or Hawk haters, is that the team is still a top four team in the NFC. I mean, the Lions have lost bad. They lost to the Ravens too. Right? Niners lost 3 in a row. They didn't look very good. Like, who's the only team that looks good that really hasn't had a bad loss? What, Philly? You know? So, you could still be the number two, number three, number four teams in the NFC, and so you'll be better than the Cowboys and the Saints, but they're kind of creeping. And, sometimes you're going to lose bad, but I ain't worried about it. Shit, if you guys were at home, you could have won 37-3, 37-10, 37-17. And for the haters, they'll be like, no, Lamar. Yeah, because you're hopping on that bandwagon, like the people like the popular player, but we know. If you watch the games, we know. We know. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. The league is better when Lamar is better. Like, even if you don't like Lamar, or you like him, you don't like him, but like I feel like when he's out there, he brings a lot of excitement. And the league is better when they're good with him and Mark Andrews. It's like a little Patrick Mahomes, a Kelsey type of vibe. So And honestly, like if I do my pecking order of quarterbacks, I mean, I got Lamar over Josh Allen now. So that's big. I got Lamar as a top 4 quarterback that I would, if someone of you could grab them, like who would you want? Like, as long as he's coached up right, he's had a lot of consistency in his life, which is a big help, and when you got a Harbaugh there, you got Mark Andrews, the defense is phenomenal. Now it's just deciding if you're going to run around with your head cut off or if you're going to stay in the pocket or do a little bit of both. And yeah, he's definitely got back to his roots, and they're playing well. Lamar Action Jackson. Lamar. Fun to watch. No one else like him. Only one like him in the league. Is toe tapping. The movement in his legs. Like his legs move at a different speed, kind of like Michael Vick. Like when you watch him, like pitter patter with their feet. Like when a normal person does left, right, right, left, they're doing like left, right, left, right. They're like doing like 4 movements with their feet when everyone else is doing 1 or 2. And that's why he's able to get so many yards because he's taking more steps and he's more clever with his agility, so he can bounce around from left and right like a little rabbit, right? And you can't tackle him. And he's got a great arm. He makes it look very effortless. Um, Underrated, but normally a top 10 quarterback. But now, since you have a number 1 defense, right, that helps him out tremendously. Gus the Bus is running well. That helps him out tremendously. Mark Andrews is catching everything. That helps tremendously. And then you start looking like an MVP candidate like you were a couple years ago. So, yeah, he's a unique one of one type of player. It's really about accuracy and being able to have a good running game paired up with his throwing. And the more that he is efficient in the pocket, the deeper they can go. And honestly, if they end up beating someone in the playoffs, them or the Jags, because they're both well balanced. If they beat the Bills or the Chiefs or whoever, the Bengals or the Bills or whoever, like would it be that shocking if a Ravens or a Jags made it to the AFC Championship game? I would not be shocked. It's like those teams have the best balance. Those are the Niner Eagles in the AFC. Those are the teams that have the balance. It could be the Chiefs if they can just get their offense to match their defense, which is normally the other way around. But I really like the Ravens and the Jags as far as being sleepers because I like the balance and they're very very good, especially at home. So, but also too, the Ravens and the Jags can actually play on the road pretty decent also. There are 2 teams that they're not going to win every game on the road. They might get blown out here and there, but they usually can put on a pretty good performance. Like when they play, people that are betting in Vegas sometimes will pick for them because they believe in them, even on the road. So, yeah, they destroyed the Lions. They destroyed you guys. I mean, it happens. They're good, you know. But let's not for a second think why if you guys were at home that couldn't, the reverse couldn't happen. Most people would say no, but it's always easy to say that in recency bias after a loss or a win. People love to cloud the judgment. You guys will be all right. Daniel Filet. Boom. Daniel. I always like to be able to go in history though, because we want to be able to see like where people came from, the journey, and most of the time we don't even know what these people look like unless you go deep into, reading articles or, seeing photos, with the highlights or whatever. But I like being able to see like, okay, this is what you look like before you became this. Like, I like being able to see the growth. And it's always cool to be able to see them in their college jerseys as well. Yeah, I honestly think in that matchup, you guys aren't as bad as you looked, but they're not as good as they looked either. Like they made it look like where oh, this game's going to be close, and then all of a sudden it's like over in the first quarter, and then the Hawks fans are like shit. Like I don't think anybody. I mean, even me, I knew you guys were going to lose that game, but I did not know it was going to be that bad. Like most people think, even when the Hawks play bad, they're putting up 10 to 17. You're usually putting up a couple touchdowns, at least a field goal or two, or three field goals. It's like even the bad games, you're still putting up something. Not like three is almost essentially zero. Like it's like you're going that whole game, and the only thing you can muster is like getting into field goal range one time and actually making it. Like that's tough. But that happens on the road. So yeah, I like seeing the You can tell there's a lot of lower name players that are on the O line and D line for the Ravens that the average person and even fans don't know, and that's why they're excelling so much. Is because they're giving Lamar more time, but no one talks about it. They're talking about Lamar, but they're not talking about the improved O line play. And then obviously the defense got some guys that they're rotating in there too, lower name guys. And I mean, when's the last time that we really remember the Ravens literally having the number one defense, even if it's just for a few weeks or the rest of the year? The last time they had it, it felt like it was like an Ed Reed, Ray Lewis type of era. It's been a couple years. So for them to get back to being that, that's going to give Lamar such an advantage where maybe they make the AFC Championship game or Super Bowl this year. I mean, would it be that crazy to think that finally, they had chances early in his career, but they didn't have a team good enough, and the Chiefs were so fucking good? Is this the year where it's kind of open in the AFC and someone takes advantage and overachieves and upsets a couple of good teams to get there, like the Chiefs and Bengals? Could be. I think there's a very high probability of the Jags or the Ravens upsetting a few teams this year, as long as they don't get hurt. One day, you got to pray. One day there'll be two Hall of Famers on the line, like Walter Jones and Steve Hutchinson again. 17-3. Let's get some points. I'm excited to do the Kraken tomorrow. We're winning tomorrow, baby. And I'm a little excited for the matchup that most people don't give a shit about on Thursday, Panthers Bears. I think we're going to see some decent football by at least one of the teams. Like you're going to see some amazing plays from the Bears, regardless if Justin Fields is quarterbacking or not. That one will. And then if Bryce can do anything, then that'll add a little flavor. Wilson, throw the football. Like even if no one's there to throw it, who cares? There we go. Oh, Wilson to Wilson. First down chance. Yeah. There we go. Just use him as like a runner. If you don't trust him to throw the football, just have him run bootleg every time. Just run for your life, even though it's like obviously you don't wait enough in the pocket to even make a good decision. And then you do, and then you just hang on to the football and you don't even throw it. Like throw it away, bro. You can't hold on to the football for fucking 5 seconds and think that's gonna be all right. Come on, brother. Brace. A breeze. Come on, Wilson. Get rid of it. There we go. CJ Uzomah. Swag. Could be a superstar. Has a very good skill set, like an Amon Ra, and a top of the line receiver with the Jay Jettas and the Tyreeks and the AJ Browns. Like we could definitely see him with Amon Ra moving forward very soon. Especially if we get Aaron Rodgers thrown to him. Because if that happens, he's getting like 1,000 to 1,600 yards, probably 1,200 to 1,600 yards, 10 to 15 touchdowns. He'll have games where he'll have maybe 2 or 3 in a game. He's good. That's bad. I want 140 to 200 every time I play. If I get like 100, I'm like, oh, boo. I might as well just take an L. 85 to go. See if we get any goats coming through. Goats? I don't think he's completely broken. Yeah, I think he realizes that Zach is not the greatest quarterback. Like you're only going to get so many looks because he's not going to be able to give you the looks that you need to be able to be like a fantasy star and to be like helping your team more. You just need to be able to get a quarterback that will get him the ball. See, every once in a while he'll have a nice throw like that to Conklin. But it's like Aaron Rodgers has him. He could score 10 to like 16 touchdowns in a season. You got Zach Wilson. What's the highest you're going to get with Garrett in a whole season? Maybe 8? Like one touchdown with him every second or third game. It's like probably not going to be every game. Like, I don't know, like a big upside if you actually get someone in there. Brees Hall will play better. All the other receivers will play better. Defense will probably have a little bit of a lift too. Like, oh, we got a quarterback that actually can put up 35 points or more. I'm ashamed. Ashamed when I have a bad week like that. Then it's like I feel like I scrape by. Zach is broken. Oh, Zach, I think whether Zach is broken or he's not broken, he's just not good enough to play in this level. You know what I'm saying? Not to be a starter. You're good enough to be a second string, on any team in the NFL, but you're not good enough to be the leader of a team that a team can feel comfortable and count on. He is not good enough. It's hard to be good. So that was like, but like no one would want him as a quarterback. Trey Lance, like no. Mac Jones, no. Certain guys, you can do it in college, but you just unless you like even if Zach went to like the Niners, he'd play better than this, but he still wouldn't. You would have someone else out there that would do better. So it's like his decision making. You know what I mean? More time goes into hair product, than actual going through the progressions and whatnot. Like, yeah, so you know what time it is? That goes like this. Yum, 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 yum. You hang on to the football way too long. Yum, 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 yum. Get ready to the football. And that's the difference. And that's why you have to be able to see this to understand, that if you're expecting Aaron Rodgers out of Zach, you're not getting it. So why are you booing? You already know, like if Aaron Rodgers was hanging on to the football too long and then that happened, then you boo if you want to be a hater, but like you already know the kid is limited, you know, he's a backup playing in a starter role. It's like he's a freshman playing with varsity. Every once in a while he'll make a splash play because he's talented, but he can't do it on a consistent basis, and that's why there's a difference there. I mean, Jets O line could be a little bit better, but kick is good. Greg the leg. The big difference, where if you replace one player and you go from a team winning 4 to 8 games to a team that could end up going to the Super Bowl, then I would say, yeah, well, there's probably quite a few guys that could replace a guy like that and make this team a playoff team or a contender. So he just has to be able to understand that he's going to be a backup the rest of his life and, be blessed that you actually got picked second, because, probably didn't deserve to get picked that high, but, what happens? It's hard. I felt like we got ripped off. I would have loved to call some Rodgers games. Like there would have been some real big games that it would have been like more tantalizing matchup. Like even this, Rodgers versus Herbert. It's like little. It's like normally I don't really care about the Jets as much, but now it's like I want to watch them now. I want to see if Rodgers does good or bad, and then I'll give you more of a purpose to watch defense if you're not a defensive guy. And But this is the guy that suffered the most. Suffered dog. Fantasy. You drafted him. Screwed dog. Expecting big, big numbers, dog. Not getting them, dog. Was hoping for 20s and 30s and getting like 5s to 12s. You know, not ideal. Not in fantasy. Prayers up for everyone that's got a Garrett Wilson on the roster. I mean, damn good. Oh, definitely hurt football. It hurt ratings for sure. I mean, because the storyline and the build-up, it's like Brady going to a new team. Do you want to root for him or root against him? Hope he loses or hope he wins with the new team? And I don't know. I mean, like I said, you replace one player, put in Rodgers, whether you love him or you hate him, they instantly turn into a 10 to 14 win team and possibly a team that could overachieve and make the AFC Championship game if the defense and O line play great. And he plays great, and then maybe they even make the Super Bowl. Like it is possible, but you wouldn't say that with too many quarterbacks nowadays. Even one as old as him, but there's still some juice left in the tank. Jets will be relevant to watch on TV one day, next year, end of this year. Aaron Rodgers on one leg and one robot bionic leg go out there for 425, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Jets win. All right, 17-6. Let me see how many fantasy points I got. What do I got? Not enough. That's the answer. How many fantasy points I got? Not enough. I look at it and I'm like, oh, disgusting. 104. Give me an L. And Keenan Allen doesn't even have 10 yet. Come on, man. Come on, man. 7 with the Jets defense, 7.8 from Keenan Allen. That is not good enough. Give me 10 points or more on defense, and let's get to Keenan Allen to 10 to 22. You can definitely tell with the people that can process information faster than others. It doesn't make you necessarily dumb, but there's going to be certain quarterbacks that have that killer instinct, and they know how to go. Like you have to be able to process information, remember it, execute it, and be that leader. And obviously, some are better than others at handling the pressure, and also have the gifts, the natural talent. And I don't think anyone would give Zach Wilson a chance moving forward. I know I wouldn't. Shit, if you can't do it on this roster, then you're not going to be able to do it anywhere. I mean, like, put in Aaron Rodgers, hell, maybe AFC Championship game. Put in Zach Wilson, you're sitting on the couch watching other teams play in January. 2nd down and 7. Shotgun set, Herbert. Pass Keenan Allen, give me some fantasy points, baby. And of course, he gets a catch and gets like 1 yard. Thanks, Keenan. I need some more fantasy points. At least he got a PPR point, so I'm at like 8 something now, I assume. What am I at now? Ooh, 9.2. He's like, oh, don't worry about it, O-Dog. I got you. 10 to 22. You didn't get greedy. Just like what you would expect from Keenan Allen, which is normally 17 or more. So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. Let's go. 3rd down and 3. Give me a pick 6 or give me some Keenan Allen. Shotgun set for Herbert. Oh, what happened to my hands? Defense, boy. Oh, swag. Like Jets actually are swaggy team, swaggy helmet. More likable than the Giants. Like easier to watch games, and you know what I mean. Like you might not give a shit about it, but if you had a choice between the Giants and Jets, it's clear which one would be funner to watch. Yeah, not ideal. Boo injuries. Boo that. Boo when our favorites get injured. I think they do. I really like the green. I mean, green's my favorite color. Like, I just think that, they just need certain players to be able to be proud of. And if that's Rodgers and Brees Hall and Garrett Wilson, well, that's a pretty fucking good trio. And you got Sauce on the defense. I mean, that's kind of swaggy too. It's like you got kind of like likable elite players that have style, swagger, and they're kind of a brand all their own. They just need that leader to step in to kind of, you got to give the keys to. And oh boy, got injured. They need to have fucking grass, not artificial turf. Or Aaron. Did I like you on the Packers? No. On the Jets? Yeah. I'll root for you on the Jets. Then I promise I won't get hurt in the first week next year. $15, 85 to go. All right. So I won, Reflect won, Sarah won. No surprise. Glad you got your second win. Good for you. Wish you could be at like 4 by now, but you know, so it's a good lesson to learn on how active you got to be in the first 3 weeks. An elite fantasy football player will never tell you that. It's like how crucial the wire is in the first 3 weeks, and the people that take it for granted, sometimes will pay the price when injuries happen. Like you could have collected depth to keep you afloat, but decided that, oh, my guys are good enough, I'll make it fine, and then all of a sudden you get like 2 in the same week, and if they're really big players, you're like, oh God, what happened? Injuries are tough. I like the costumes. I love it. Hey, stand up. Flag. Brees. Brees is nice, like Kenneth Walker the third. I like both. Like, I feel they run differently. Brees is more smooth. Kenneth Walker is more herky jerky, but in a good way. The way that he contorts his body and kind of looks like he's running in place while he's running, and he takes those sharp angles. Brees kind of just hits a hole and he glides, and then he just kind of goes here, goes there, slides like he's on like an ice skating rink. You know, it's a different type of smoothness. Each do it like differently, and that's what makes each of these guys good. Like he's like gliding for yards. Studs. Oh, good throw. Wilson to Wilson. First down, Jets. I like it. So guess what? I caught that shit. I'm good. I mean, it's possible that if Aaron Rodgers would have been healthy this year, that Rodgers to Wilson, he could have ended up being the number one wide receiver this year, like number one, number two, number three, like right there with AJ Brown and Tyreek, maybe even more. I mean, hell, if he fucking gives the ball like he did to Devontae Adams to Garrett Wilson, and he makes the plays. I mean, he could be like a Justin Jefferson. He's got to give him opportunities. He can do it. But when you got Zach in there, like you got to pray that you get that one opportunity in the red zone to get touchdown. Like you're not going to probably get 2 or 3, and you know that. So it's like if anyone's going to get that single touchdown, it's got to be me. And if you get it, then obviously your stat line is going to be a little bit higher, a little bit padded, but they're both enjoyable to watch based on their different styles. You just have to be able to depending on the style of running back you like. It's like some people like Barry, some people like Emmett. Obviously we know Barry is probably the best of all time, and Walter Payton, and there's all kinds of Bo knows Rodgers. Yeah, I put him on the thumb. I was like, man, I got to rep the running back. I'm not going to put Herbert and Zach on there. I was like, nah, we got to rep the running back. RBs. Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa. Third down and 5 for Wilson. Floater. One-handed. Oh, incomplete. Flag on the play. You can always bank on the Chargers with some kind of fucked up flag. Always, huh? Like whether the team gets the ball or doesn't get the ball. Like kind of like the Cowboys. Like, it's like you'll do good, you'll do good. You're playing great. Dak's playing great. And at the end of the game in that last drive, they have a false start. They have, some kind of bullshit penalty. Then it ends up being like third and long and maybe almost 1 foot in the end zone, 1 foot out of bounds. Like you shoot yourself in the foot always. Like you got to clean those mistakes up, and that comes with better coaching. If you have better coaching than the Cowboys and Chargers, won't be the Cowboys and Chargers anymore. They'll be someone else better. Then we can talk about whoever those teams are will be the old versions of them. Come on, Wilson. Garrett Wilson fantasy owners are like, please, God. Grease smothered. Joey Bosa. Joey Bosa, he good. These guys are good. I want a Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa, uh, Max Crosby, TJ Watt. Why can't they come over to the Buccaneers? It's like, fuck it. Come over to my team. I need players like that. But preferably Max Crosby. Just go from one pirate team to the next. He's like, oh, let me go from here to the Buccaneers. I'm like, oh, boom shakalaka. Yeah, it costs money to do the all grass, and that's why all the teams don't do it. But the ACLs would go down by probably 30%. It still would happen, but not as often. All right, Kraken tomorrow. I'm excited, and we're gonna win tomorrow. Release the Kraken. I'm excited. Got to make a Kraken thumbnail tomorrow. First down, Jets. What's good, bro? Appreciate you. I gotta go night. Yeah, well, it just means showing the praise, man. I could choose anybody in the NFL. I think he might be like the one that I would want the most. I mean, TJ Watt, obviously, phenomenal. But it's like depending on what part that I'm wanting on the defense and whatnot. But those would be like the two choices. Those would be my two choices. Myles Garrett is a kind of an animal too. I like Crosby and his personality, his motor. I just want people that try. Yeah, and then like a lot of the owners are like billionaires, so it's like, is it really that bad if you take a cut like 1 year to improve like the chance of you paying millions of dollars of contracts where the guys actually stay healthy and help you win a Super Bowl rather than not improving the conditions for the players, including yours, to be healthier longer? Like it doesn't really, it's all about money at the end of the day. But if it's going to help you try to win and keep your guys and the rest of the league healthy, then I would say we should make it mandatory that all of them have to be grass. Yeah, you got to have people maintain them, pay some extra fucking people to do it, to maintain the watering and the maintenance and all that. But I mean, the game would be so much better. Less injuries, players would love it. You're still going to get the horrific Achilles tears and the ACL, PCL, MCL. But I think that if you look at the stats based off turf and then pure grass, the numbers are much lower when it's grass. So I think the players would appreciate it more. But stay healthy. Yeah, but they decided, unless you already have it implemented, that no, I'd rather make my profits, and that's how they're like, oh, I pay an extra $1 million a year to maintain. No, I'm not paying a million. I ain't doing that shit. I got yachts to be on. I think they should make it mandatory though. It would make our league better, fantasy football better. We're not worried as much. The players are getting paid and they're not having their season ended in like game two. It's like sometimes people are brittle and they got the Greg Oden syndrome, but others it's just, kind of a wrong place, wrong time, or your body gets contorted and twisted up. It's you know what time it is, time for sack lunch. Yum, 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 yum. Yeah, she's gonna dominate college hoops again, break a lot of records, and then first pick in the draft or very, very high, and will be a very good player on the WNBA side, like Sabrina. No doubt. We got Sabrina and Herbert out of the Ducks. That's pretty good. We definitely produce some decent talent once in a while. The Bosa. Gonna hit you with the throwback though. Joey in college. All right. You know what's crazy too? Like I don't even really watch like college hoops or whatever, but there'll probably be a chance where I'll watch more of her than maybe anything else in college besides March Madness. Like I said, if there ends up being a superstar that's coming in, you know, I like Paige Breckers. Yeah, I like her. There's certain ladies that there's 5 to 10 that are gonna like definitely go to the WNBA and do big things. But usually in the last couple of years, you're gonna have like superstars that are coming out, like one or two a year. Some like damn good players. I'll watch a few games. Hell, the fucking women's might end up being more entertaining than the men's, like it was last year. You never know. It just depends on what kind of talent that we got. Now, if this was like 80s, 90s college hoops with like Kentucky and Duke and North Carolina, I love that shit in the morning. I love the NBA and college hoops back then, but it's kind of different now. Too many people transfer, they don't stay very long at the college, unless you're, like a North Carolina Duke person and you just stuck with them the whole time. Get through that line. Sack lunches. Let's go. Herbert, incomplete. Yeah, I mean, she's going to have a chance to like probably almost average a triple double. She's going to be really, really good. So we already saw how great she was last year. So players like that don't come around that often. I'm not going to go out of my way and watch a bunch, but I'm definitely going to keep up with what's going on. Who are the greats at what they do, regardless if it's men or women? I actually regret I wasn't able to see Sabrina in person. Like, I'm not going to go out of my way to watch a lot of the women's hoops, but if I had tickets and it was not COVID and I was able to go down there and watch her in the front row, oh shit, hell yeah! You're not even in the front row anywhere. That would have been a cool moment. Step up, baby. Go, go, go. Lean forward. There you go. First down. Chargers. There you go, baby. Make that Oregon Duck play. He's athletic, boy. Oregon, baby. Them Oregon boys. Swag. Let's go, baby. The best part about him, though, is that, who he is. Super intelligent. Oh, he got crushed. Man, Herbert, tough son of a bitch. He's like, oh, my ribs are broken. Fuck it. Don't injure my guy's ribs. He just got in. Broken fingers. You got to get rid of that football, Herbert. You let that shit happen. Yeah, she's good. She's got the swag. Like, she'll be able to win championships for her team in the future. Shotgun set, second down and 15. Herbert, get rid of it, baby. Give me Keenan Allen fantasy points. There we go, baby. Give me some fantasy. Not enough from Keenan Allen today. What am I at with him? 10.8, and I wanted 10 to 22. Still got a quarter to play to make that dream happen. Are we going to let the quarter expire? Fourth quarter. Like a couple more catches for Keenan Allen, touchdown, and then pick six. Jets defense. Yeah. Yeah, it's called lack of talent. Need more talent, more pieces. It sucked to be a New York fan. I guess you'd have to figure out what you want to root for other than that. I feel it'd be funner to be a Jet fan than a Giant fan, though. Again, if you move on from Daniel Jones, then things could get really spicy. But as long as he's there, that's gonna, you know, prayers up for his injury too. Hopefully, he ends up being okay. But paying that guy 4 years, like 160 million, like 40 million a year for Daniel Jones, like what are you smoking? Like, why the hell would you do something like that? You could have gotten someone for much cheaper and much more talented. And you could have gotten like a 2-for-1. Like 40 million? You crazy? Like maybe for Jalen. Not for him. Golly. Women's tourney. ZocDoc. Everyone go to the ZocDoc. Got to find the doctors and go to ZocDoc. Not happening. All right, here we go. Fourth quarter. Jets need a play desperately, but not before I get my Keenan Allen fantasy points. That's really what's important. Third down and 9. Herbert, go to Allen. Give me Keenan. First down, not Keenan Allen. Nice job, Quentin. Blue Jays. Quentin Johnson. TCU. Bam, 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 bam. Cracking tomorrow. Thursday Night Football. Wednesday, AEW Dynamite. Good route right there. Too bad Mike Williams got hurt. Shotgun set for Herbert. Oh, tip. Oh, where was the pick? Where was the fantasy points? They were right there. That's why the Jets are so exciting because, tip footballs, tip drill, hot potato, pick sixes, like, they'll happen for the Jets. Like, you have a belief that it can happen every game. That's what makes their defense, like, intriguing. Some games are going to be terrible. You're going to get, negative or, like, under a 4. But there'll be games that you can hit 10 to 25, and that's why you get a fantasy team for those big moments. Let's go. Halfback toss to Eckler. Oh, good tackle. Gain of 6 for Eckler. Shotgun set for Herbert. First down. O-Dogs fantasy points. Good job. I need a tutty though. I need a touchdown. Yeah, we're dinking and doinking and whatnot. I need to make sure we're gonna get like the big points. 12.4. Well, a touchdown could get to 20, 19, 20 points. That sounds good. But that Jets defense, I'll take a pick 6. Fumble for a touchdown. Danny Crimes instead of Danny Dimes. Like, who in their right mind would think that would be a good idea? Unless you're paying for someone that's like top 3, like Burrow, Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. Okay, we'll negotiate 40, 50, whatever. But if it's not like one of those, or like Lamar, like, what the hell are you doing? Daniel? 40? Like maybe 4? 36 million too much. And even that might be too much. I mean, paying a guy $40 million a year and getting $400,000 results or $40,000 in results, not good. You could get 40,000. You got 40 million. He's just limited, like Zach Wilson. He can only do so much. But he did prove that Saquon can stay healthy. He can run the football and he can run the RPO. And he actually was a little bit better. He actually made a name for himself a little bit last year, but bad year this year. Saquon injured, and then back to the old Danny Dimes thought of this is what he is. O-Dog needs fantasy points. Oh, baby. He said, oh, yes, yes. He's like, there's a reason that I got that. I did that for Orion. I did that for his fantasy, baby. Told him, time it is time for the Jet Sack lunch. Let's go, baby. Look at this catch. Oh, baby. Keenan Allen, 15.7. All right, so I might actually be able to get to 20 plus. All right, baby. Yeah, I need either a big jet defensive play or a boom, 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 Keenan Allen. Now I got Mike Evans and Keenan Allen like way, way, way late. I had Jay Jetta and Amon Ross, so to get those two, I was like, woo. But I did sacrifice my running backs. You have to understand when they were there, I could have went running back and did what you did, which I probably should have. But I decided just to say, fuck it, and I'm just trying to get the best of that position. And then I'll figure out after David Montgomery what the fuck I'm going to do. Struggle with an RB2 all year, and my flex always has to be a wide receiver, never a running back, and then pray that that strategy works. So bum, 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 bum. Keenan Allen. And like, you know how it goes in the draft. It's best available. That's going to fit your team on what you haven't already picked. So sometimes people will fall into your lap, or you'll go for a running back and sick, Keenan Allen, and maybe I should have did that. I still feel I'll be one of the top three, and I'm trying to win championship, baby. Go, baby, go, Herbert. Let's go. All right, Cameron Dicker, the kicker. Pretty routine play. Should be automatic. 38-yarder. Kick is up. And it is good. 20-6. It's hard for the Jets to score points. And they got way better players than the Giants. They need a better quarterback. I think a lot of people had that perception. But again, if you watch a lot of a certain team and if you know like the targets are going to be there, like if you automatically know that someone's going to get 10 to 12 like almost every game, and maybe some games of like 5 to 8, but like they're really going heavy. Some people will go deeper and look at the information or the trajectory, but sometimes an injury can make you feel that someone's going to fall off, but sometimes you just have to look at the dog. What kind of dog we dealing with? And some are a little bit more resilient than others. I mean, shit, I wouldn't have picked him if I thought he was going to be a scrub. But I got you to dominate, brother. I need a touchdown. All right, baby. Come on, Jets, show me something. Wow, that's awesome. Congratulations to Keenan Allen. Awesome that I can have someone like that in fantasy and you can have a record year. I mean, shit, if I end up winning the fantasy championship, Keenan Allen's going to be a part of it. If I win, it's going to be him balling out of control like a madman. If not, then, well, I guess then Pro King and Reflect will be champs at the end of the day. We'll find out. Come on, Zach. What happened to my hands? Yeah. Keenan Allen, huh? Yeah. 15.7. He should if he doesn't even score anymore after that. But it's like you always want to maximize your superstars and see them max out often. That way, when it gets deeper in the season and you need points, like you can feel confident. You don't want your superstar player putting up 7 and 8. You want them to put up 18s and 28. Dog. Come on, baby. Move the football. Yeah, Mostert was sweet. Holding. That was sweet, though. The more you know about the league, the like I said, the better that you're going to do it. It shows with the drafting. I mean, especially if you draft well. You're going to have a majority of your roster, 60 to 80% of it. If you drafted well, it's like you're not going to have to move certain pieces like those are permanent. And the more permanent players you have in the draft, the better you're going to be. As far as being a contender. All right, Zach Wilson, do something, brother. Yeah, like Zach can make like an amazing throw, but then he'll have like 7 bad ones. You got to wait for like that 8th one. That's like, oh my god, how did you do that? Look at that delivery; it's terrible. Sidearm, Mahomes, jump off like throw like a normal human being, man. What are you doing? That one just went out of his hands like a duck. Come on, yeah. Well, teams overachieve, and it's also not just him; it's the team that he's on. You know, being with Tua and Mike McDaniel, and then Waddle and Tyreek, like you get to benefit the most out of any running back because you get in a system where you're going to get a lot of looks. They're gonna, you're gonna get your opportunities. You're gonna try to have the best offense in the ground and in the air, and that offense. They're not going to exclude you. They're going to include you, and he's a perfect player to be there. Niner players. That's why they got Jeff Wilson there too. That Niner connection and bringing over that familiarity, over onto that squad. 20-6 Chargers, 3rd down and 12. Oh, 12 noon. You know what time it is? Time for psychology. Yum, 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 yum. 6 sack lunches. 11 sack lunches. It's a lot of sack lunches. Squirts, kudos, grandma's cookies, fruit by the foot. Yeah. Well, if they improve the team and get a new coach and beef up the line, and get a good defense, like, fill the holes there, you know. Because I honestly think as great as CJ's looked on the Texans, if you put him on the Panthers, he'll be struggling too. Like you got to still, at the end of the day, no matter how good you are, you have to actually have good people around you, good coaching and good offensive line, good running backs, wide receivers, and you can definitely tell if you're the sheep in the room, if you're not there yet. So Bryce would not look as good. Neither would AR. If AR was there, they'd be like, oh, this guy, the criticism would be for anyone that's there. Like normally being like a Cleveland Brown quarterback, you're going to get scrutinized no matter what. Like they always fuck up and have like a different one every year. So I wouldn't say it's over for Bryce. We still got to give it time. I need to see what the team looks like when they're good. And then if he still plays like shit, then okay, you can be like, all right, well, maybe he'll just be an average quarterback and that's all he'll ever be, instead of being that like, guy that potentially could be a top 10 or top 5 quarterback because that's why you pick guys that high. Oh, Parmesan. All the Parmesan in the spaghetti. Arm strength. Yeah, I agree. For that short quarterback, he doesn't have the zip on it like you would see from Russell or Drew Brees early in the career. It's like it feels like a little limited. And then CJ's is more accurate and he's more smooth in the pocket. Decision making better, obviously team better around him. Also, that's a part of it. And then AR just moves and glides like Cam Newton. So it's like a taller player that's kind of easier to root for than Cam Newton. But again, if you keep running over players, his career is only going to last 5 to 7 years when it could last 10 to 15. But it just depends if his body can hold up, and if he just runs over people like Cam Newton, trying to be like Bo Jackson. We need him to be able to stick around. We need some fantasy points. Let's go. Yeah, in fantasy, I think he's top 10. But yeah, his number goes up and down. Someone can click on the name and see what he's ranked right now, but I believe it's top 10, like all year. I don't think anyone. I mean, if you ended up getting Adam Thielen in the first or second round, or first and second week of the wire, chances are, depending on how your team was structured, that definitely helped. Could turn you into a championship winner, or if you're a team that had injuries, it might have saved you. You know, like a superstar that you did not know was going to be a fantasy superstar. But I mean, if anything, that's good for Adam Thielen's career. It's more of a negotiation tool to get more money. Look at me. I can do it with Kirk Cousins, but I'm doing it with Bryce over here too. So, but I mean, if you really watch Thielen and Jay Jetta, like Thielen and Diggs, like he was always a guy that could get 10 touchdowns in a season. I mean, you just give him the ball enough as the other guy, and you act, like Thielen in his prime was like, I'll score on you. Like I'll get 5 to 10 tutties a year. You know, like an Edelman. Sometimes it'll be low. Sometimes it'll be heavy, heavy usage. Eckler, bowling ball. Yeah, that's amazing, though, right? Like, who would have thought that he would be top 10 player in fantasy? Adam Thielen, pretty cool. I wish I had him. Then I'd be like, yeah, I got him. But like, shit, that would be my wide receiver too, or flex every week. Like, no problem. Put him in there. I don't even have to worry about that spot anymore. It's like, okay, perfect. I'll just keep you at wide receiver too. And then you keep racking up like crazy numbers for Adam Thielen, putting up like AJ Brown numbers with like Adam Thielen. You're like, yeah, that's what you dream about, right? To get that could be that missing piece. Instead of having 2 good receivers, then you have 3 elite ones, and then you're just rolling and steamrolling everyone. Yeah, targets. Especially for a player like that, because if he wasn't getting targeted, he's not going to be able to hit the end zone like the elites, like Tyreek or AJ Brown. But if Tyreek and AJ Brown are getting 7 or 8 looks and he's getting 14, 15, pretty easy to get 10 out of 15, even if you fuck up a couple times. and then you score off that, boom, shakalaka. So he's doing his thing. Yeah, you did win. You won. I told you. 5, 6, 7 rank wide. Look at him. He's doing what you're doing on the running backs. Bang, bang, bang. You got him. I would have had some really, really good numbers too. I think if my two guys didn't get hurt. Like I'm trying to keep as many top 10 players in my starting lineup as possible, unless someone's filling in for an injury like Henderson. But no, I got to work hard to keep my number 1, 2, or 3, and then just try to get hot at the end of the playoffs, and know my team can win. But yeah, this is not. It's like you go like 12-2, and then the next year it takes like 2 wins takes until like week 7, 8, or 9. Like next year will be better. You're gonna have good year, bad year. Importance of depth, working the wire, and then never, and then but also the drafting. You can't take risks. You can't do that. Calvin Ridley, you can't. You got to make sure he's like, boom, the name is there. Calvin Ridley or Keenan Allen, you grab the safe one. You know, I mean, unless they would have just went straight to Ridley, then like if they went to him as much as like they made it look like they were gonna go to him, and Calvin Ridley would have been a top 5 fantasy this year. But they miscalculated that they got so many fucking players on that team, the Christian Kirks and all this other shit. So it's like you don't know where it's gonna go. Yeah. But Burrow got hot for Shep, and essentially, I feel that. I mean, if you end up having like Burrow and Mixon and T. Higgins that do the trifecta, like if your team gets hot late, you can run that all the way to a championship. Like I've seen kind of strategies that people do that, where it's like they go all in and they use a third of their lineup with elite players all on the same team. So if they start doing shitty, then your chance of doing anything goes out the window. But if all three start rolling, you can use that momentum and it can win you a championship. But you also have to be like so committed that if you got Burrow, then you're like, okay, I'm grabbing these two. I don't care how I have to do it, but I gotta. Even if I draft one maybe a round too early, I'm getting this. And then some people have won championships that way. So it'd be crazy to think where my numbers I think would be if Montgomery and Jetta didn't get hurt. Like where my rankings would be with like my receivers. Amon Ra missing a game too. Like if I would have had him 100% clean, like because Keenan is 8, Evans is 13, Amon Ra's 10, Jay Jetta's 24, but I think would have been 1 or 2, no lower than 3, even with Tyreek and AJ Brown. I mean, it's Jay Jetta. The Jettas, you get Jay Jetta, you get fucking 24 to 30 points. Boom. First down, Jets. Not last place anymore. Moving up the corporate ladder. You're moving on up. Flipping burgers to cashier, cashier to manager, manager to owner. Oh, steak and bacon. He injured himself. – 20-6. Can we see something offensively? Yeah, Hawkinson was money. And a lot of it, it could be targets. You have to be able to be like, you have to be a priority. That's what you want. You want to be an influential piece at tight end, so that way it's like you get a Kelsey or a Mark Andrews, or a Hawkinson. You already know. If you go to like Kittle and the others, you know what you're going to get there. But uh oh, live touchdown Chargers. My fantasy Jets defense. How could you? That better be a flag. Oh, they got some sorting to do. Oh, fumble Ruski, and they act like it was just like an incomplete pass. Bounced off his wrist. He's like doing a Mark Sanchez butt fumble with his wrist. Oh, look at that. He's like, oh, look at me touch the pylon. Okay, sports gods, I need David Montgomery and Jay Jetta to be healthy the rest of the way to give me an excellent shot to compete with the others. Thank you. If I got those, I like my chances. But if I don't, then it'll be much harder. 85 to go. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's going to create more depth at the position. Touchdown, Chargers. And then, like, imagine if the Falcons actually have a capable quarterback, then Kyle Pitts' numbers go up. Dallas Goedert. So it's like, you can get a guy like Trey McBride, depending on if that's Caleb or whoever it is that's, there. So there'll be opportunities for certain tight ends to emerge and, depending on where they go on the Bears. Cole Kmet, maybe that could be something that could be like okay, we don't have to think, are you top 15? No, yeah, Cole Kmet, top 10, maybe top 8. Like, certain guys are going to be able to, expand. We'll have to see who they really are. Injuries. Oh, doink. Extra point is good with the doink. 27-6. Chargers did one of those to the Jets' chin right there. Hogan. Boom. Chargers. Chargers. Jets. I wish we just could have got a little bit more offense. It's like you don't have to give me like 3 touchdowns. Like, give me like at least 2. That's not asking too much for a football fan. 2 touchdown passes in a whole fucking game. That shit happens. All right, what do I got? Look at Mahomes with 15.8. How disgusting is that? Rashad White with 27.9. That was a beautiful blessing surprise. Garrett Henderson sucked. 5.5 against Green Bay. You bum. What the fuck? 15.7 from Keenan Allen. Downs with 2. He got injured. Boo. Mark Andrews, 17, like that. Mike Evans, 12.7. Could be better. Jets D at an 8 and Hopkins at a 9. And I had all my guys on a bye. So, but now I feel comfortable. I can start Najee Harris the rest of the year at my RB2, and hopefully he'll get me 10 to 15. And if that happens, that'll help me. So, bye bye, Henderson, and hello, Najee. Yeah. Oh, what's good? What's good, brother? Brother from another mother. Good, brother. Brother. What's good, brother? Brother. Brother. You been watching wrestling? Did you watch? You get a chance to watch Crown Jewel? You been able to keep up with the Falcons with all your busy schedule and everything? And the Atlanta Falcons select Shedeur Sanders. And the Buccaneers select Michael Penix Jr. Sorry, man. Hope things get better. Mobetta Mochetta. 27-6. Yeah, I was wrong. I didn't get a chance to watch any of it. How was it? I always like to know what's going on Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW Dynamite, Collision, Rampage. Like I'm a nerd like that. Like if I had the time to sit there and watch, everything like I used to, like I literally wouldn't miss a wrestling program like all week. And now they got so many promotions going that if you're really hardcore, you can watch it almost every day. But I got so much other shit that I got to do, so I just can't watch wrestling for like 10 hours a day. I wish I could. Not every day, but sometimes. I like the old vintage stuff. Like watching matches from the 80s and 90s. Super dope. Like classic DX or classic NWO. Oh my god, it's so money. Like at the peak of wrestling. Oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that, brother. We've had a couple people that I've talked to that have gone through the same thing, brother. Odin's son too. Here's up for both of you guys. I mean, I don't care if it ends up being a person or the animal, that's a family member. I mean, anytime if you have difficult situations with like those type of things. I mean, mad love. It's like people don't understand. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're super close or it's your whole world, or even if it's like not as maybe tight as other people's relationship with this situation. But hopefully things will get slowly better, brother. Come on, Zach. Run, baby. Use your legs. That's what you're good for. Those legs. Got Judgment Day, Seth. Or Judgment Day versus Seth Rollins, Cody, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn. Mm. Yeah, well, you can always hang out with us, man. We always like hanging out. I mean, like I said, if a situation is fucking like a 0 or 1, I mean, by the time you hang out here for even if it's just a little bit, we'll bring the move to like a 3 or a 4. We don't have to bring it all the way up to a 10. That's like, you know, it takes time. You know what I mean? But if you're better than where you were prior to being in here, then that's what it's all about, right? Making a difference, even if you just go up 1 point. Go at a 1. I'm at a 1 right now, and then you could do a 2, and then 2 will turn into a 3, and eventually you'll hit 7, and then get back to a 9 or 10. Over time. Vibe check right here. We got it. That's what we're known for. Gotta. Sauce. Too much sauce. Have you been watching any new TV? A good thing is to get good into like a vibe in a series and let that, take a piece of your time. Dedicate yourself to one show, and then Sons of Anarchy, Mayans MC, the Game of Thrones, whatever it may be, Stranger Things, and then just like kind of committing to that. I felt that like once you do that, it can help. Like it's a good distraction. You get it like you can get like reacquainted with the characters. It becomes a part of your life, and like I'm almost done with Dexter. I got like a couple episodes left, or maybe I'm on the last episodes after like 8 seasons. So even though I already watched it live and then watched it again, but I figured, hey, it's 2 years, time to get back into it, starting it from the beginning, and like make sure you don't watch it to a point where some stuff you forgot. Like oh shit, like Breaking Bad. I did see Lip, and you obviously will know with many different shows, but like the Bear just got renewed for season 3. Wave your hands in the air and wave them just like you just don't care. That's gonna be super dope. Can't wait. The Bear, it's like the best show like what restaurant business is really like, and friendship and betrayal, and drama, and show that'll make you laugh but will make you cry, and like every person on that show is like insanely good actress, and one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life, and that was just recent too. So If you haven't seen it, binge watch it, and it's incredible. Everyone in the show is amazing. Even Dickhead Richie, you'll be rooting for him at some point in the show. You know, and you can see yourself in some of these people's characters. I think that's when you can vibe with the show. You either worked in the restaurant biz, or you can vibe or kind of feel the emotions, or you either did it or you know someone that went through that kind of vibe. And I mean, they made that they classified it as like a comedy, but it's like a drama. Like like there's more like drama shit going on rather than fucking jokes and shit. It's like trying to fucking survive in a restaurant that might fail and you got all your money in it and you know lots of pressure to keep shit going. And but I thought they did a great job with that show, and I am super stoked when that show boom. Like my life is on standby. You want to hang out? No, yeah, I got to watch. I binge watch that whole thing like in a night or two. I wouldn't do that with very many things. Like binge watch it right away. It's got to be like Stranger Things last season. Don't talk to me for like 2 days. And that's all I'm doing. Stranger Things. Boom, boom, boom. The ending. No more Stranger Things. No more 11. No more Will. Like that's not. I need to process that shit. So, but those are. I mean, it has to be something like that. Yeah. Well, you do more than one league. And when you do more than one league, your focus isn't going to be on the one or the other. It's going to be split, you know? And sometimes it's bad luck, but also, too, it shows you need to make more moves. You can't be just happy with guys stuck on your bench and in your lineup. If there's other guys that are ranked higher that are getting more targets, you got to dump one of your favorites and say, fuck it. I like the name, but the name isn't producing. And then get that fucking stud, and, that's on the wire. Boom, implement, and then wins. Bang, 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 But some of those decisions are tough because it's like the wire is thin after week 3. But anytime there's something that's dropped off due to roster space, not enough, and you see a gem, you got to grab that shit, man. Like, and then you got to, when you grab them, you just can't put them on your bench and just like stare at them at like a car in a garage. Implement that son of a bitch in the lineup, put him in at wide receiver 2, and fucking roll the dice. I mean, if shit haven't been working early, maybe doing that will get you going. It's like sometimes you got to take risks. So things will turn around, bro. It's just a weird time right now with the way that the vibes are, and everything. We just gotta get past the initial kind of vibe downers, and then eventually we'll get the vibes up again. I was spying on your guys' shit too, and I noticed that you guys were playing each other, and I figured it was going to be like uber close too, like the difference by just a couple points possibly. There's still like half a season though. There's still games, or like 40%, 45%. I mean, there's still games. So I mean, if you can get on a heater late, you never know. You could end up getting that 4th spot, even if you feel that you're like in 5th, 6th, 7th place, and there's like no way that you can catch up to maybe 2 or 3 people ahead of you. But you get hot at the right time, anything is possible, bro. I mean, shit, I went 13-1, and you were like, 8-6 or something, and you were able to get there and beat me, by .5 catch on the last play in fucking fantasy, right? Anything is possible. Oh, oh baby, oh baby, first down Jets. This is like Garrett Wilson fantasy owners. Please God, please Garrett. They're like, that's not Garrett Wilson. And then like the .001 fantasy owners that actually are playing Tyler Conklin are like, oh please give him the touchy. Yeah, yeah. But again, they bring it in like a Shedeur Sanders, and then you can have like Shedeur Sanders and Heinicke. I think those would be the 2 ones that you would want. Go that route, see where that goes. And if Shedeur can get Kyle Pitts to be like a top 5 tight end, then you got your guy. You draft Bijan. You don't draft him to give him like 4 carries and give you like 4 fantasy points. You drafted him to get fucking 30 points or, like go off. Like coaching, better players, better quarterback, better O-line, better defense, then Falcons can win over the Saints in the NFC South. What happened to my Aliens? Yeah, it's gonna be difficult, bro. Because like in past years, it's like you already know which people are gonna be able to probably make it, but it's much more competitive this year. The most competitive it's been ever. I've never seen it with 4 teams at 6-2, or that's insane. Like the most we've ever had is usually 2, and then there's 2 that are close behind, but they're separated by a few games from the top 2 teams. But I mean, it is dead even. I like that. Shows how smart people are. I love that. Go, baby. I know. Well, like I said, anyone that has Kelsey or Mahomes, we got screwed. You at least got Jalen, so you're all right on that end. But I thought, I should have done. I should have did Jalen. But even though Burrow was shitty for Sarah early and she had all those losses, if Burrow gets hot, that'll be a nice piece. Burrow could be like a top 5 fantasy quarterback based off stats the rest of the year, and they might actually make the playoffs. So the better Burrow does and gets back on track instead of starting slow, that could be maybe she doesn't make the playoffs, but maybe wins more than she ever thought she would after starting off like 0-5, 0-6, 0-7. And you rifle off so many games and you almost get to 500. Imagine having that kind of comeback in fantasy. 6 points. Chargers defense. They're good. That's not Garrett Wilson. They went to Conklin. Garrett Wilson, wrong person. Hello, 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 hello. Aaron Rodgers is playing, man. This guy would be getting like 2 or 3 touchdowns a game. That's what we would be doing. The role would be Jet football. We'd be like, ooh, we actually want to watch this. Final score: Chargers 27, Jets 6. Surprise! I figured the Jets would put up more. I don't even see. Let's look how shitty they did or how good they did based off these 27 points they gave up. What did you give me? 8 points, and they gave up 27, and I still got 8. I would say that's a B. That's pretty good. I didn't get to 10, but 8 after giving up 27. That is very good. All right. Keenan Allen, 15.7. Boom. Now it's a little bit better than what it was. Still terrible, though. Josh Downs with a 2. Darrell Henderson with a 5.5. You're telling me you could only get 19 yards on that Green Bay D? Pathetic. Golly. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate every single one of y'all. Any other photos or anything that you guys want to see, just holler, comment below. Otherwise, I'm going to go eat dinner, spend time with Paisley, do some more reading. Got to do some film study. Then I got to be able to watch some shows, finish that last episode of Dexter, and then let me know if you guys are watching any shows. You can always message me on social too if there's anything else that you would recommend. Because I'm going to start. Maybe I'll do The Sopranos. I was thinking that. I was like, ooh, that would be a good one. And I was like, I really want to do Sons of Anarchy. Like sometimes the stuff that has a little drama and crime. But The Bear, season 3, they are filming. So that'll be exciting whenever that comes out. If you're a fan and if you haven't seen it, fucking watch it. I guarantee you'll love it. Expedition Unknown. Nice. I love that. First thing I do once I get off here on the computer, I always go to the living room, and then I'm always on Discovery first, Ghost Adventures or whatever else, Expedition Unknown or Josh Gates, or he has the guy and the girl underneath them that go on do the spooky adventures. And then I go Discovery, History, Nat Geo. I'm always looking at those. First, the Animal Planet or the Planet Earths, but I'm usually looking for the educational program, something cool on Discovery. or history. Those are like my number one and number two. I'm like, I want to learn something new every day. So, and I got to exercise. I think it's raining, but I got to take Paisley out. We need to, do our exercise thing. We're doing about an hour and a half, 2 hours every day. So that's good. That is good. Yeah. I'll do some a couple photos of food real quick here. Some Falcons. But like Heineke gives you a better chance to win than Ritter. But still, with that being said, it's like I don't know if you really would want Heineke as the one. Like have him as the two and bring in someone else and see where things go. You know what I'm saying? Like getting a Shadur Sanders in there. Maybe he doesn't have the same talent as the other two right away, but there's like potential, and they'll play harder for a guy like that. Deion's son and that connections and his diet and work ethic and like that could be that Deion Sanders flair that the Falcons need to get them over the top over the Saints. So, Shadur Sanders and the Falcons. You're welcome. Modern Warfare. Kyler Murray is not coming back because we know Modern Warfare is coming out, so he's going to postpone his debut. I'm busy playing video games. Dude, do it. 100% do it. Put the love and the time. Make sure you get the cheese and the seasonings. Like no half-assing it. Like go all out. And you're only going to do it like once every couple months, or something. And then you just go make sure. And then you do that, and then not only do you have it taste better, but then that next hit leftover later that day or the next day is just superb, bro. Put in the extra effort initially, and then you get the benefits later on. Unless you just eat so much of it right away because it tastes so good. If you're gonna do the chili, you got to get the cornbread though, or you got to get some kind of bread and some other side extra stuff too. I've been craving pizza. I haven't had pizza in a long, long time, and I've been craving it. Like a combo pizza with literally everything. Give me the green pepper, onion, all the toppings, mushroom, pepperoni, sausage, all there's just like everything. Cheeses everywhere. Like give me the best pizza of the pizzas. Combination pizza. That is my favorite. 8 sacks, 3 fumble recoveries. Boom shakalaka. You got all the ingredients, doing the cornbread, do it, bro. See, bro, if we live close to each other, like we would, we it's like okay, like there's certain people you can just eat alone. You got friends or you got a date or whatever. But sometimes it's like you can just hang out with like the homie and just like eat, watch football, and just like you don't have to talk to each other. Just like sit there and eat good food and like watch football, like react to what's going on. But you know, you got it, man. Heck yeah. You know what's up. And it's like you got to make sure you get the cornbread with it too, because then it hits differently rather than just doing it by itself. It's like you got to have that. Make sure you complete the meal. Now I got to look at cornbread and see what you did to me. And I know some of your places that you guys got in the Midwest and East Coast. You guys got like so many variations and how crazy it is. And I mean, I watch all the food shows, so I know when I see something where they talk about it, how it's, like, made differently, and, like, out here on the West Coast, you're not gonna have too many places that are gonna have, like, the good cornbread, but you will find them. I would guarantee you're probably gonna get it much, much better anywhere else but here. We got the seafood, but we're not gonna be known for cornbread. I love it. Skillet cornbread, like, this is like a traditional, and then they have, like, a skillet. Skillet boy. Oh, right there. Chili or gumbo, either one, bro. If you put your time and your effort and energy, you'll feel like that stress go away, like all that, bad juju, bad vibes, like, it's like you can start, like, healing, in a good way. It's like you can make even something simple as, like, bacon and just smelling, like, the bacon, fat and everything, like, being made and, just the whole vibe of it and the sounds and the smells, and it's like sometimes something simple as even like eggs and breakfast and toast, like it could change your vibe, moving forward. The more time you put into it, the more you're gonna enjoy it, and like every bite tastes better. Like your food tastes better when you put effort into it and you know what you're doing. Shit, either one sounds amazing, bro. I would say probably do the chili because that's what you said first. So if you said it first, then subconsciously that's probably what you've already been craving more. And then gumbo was just like the alternative that just came up recently. But you've already been wanting chili for a few weeks. Now it's just like, oh, I'm in a position to actually do this now. But you also have to like want to do it. And if the mood and the vibe is off, then you're like, fuck, I want to make this delicious food, but I don't want to make it. I just want to eat the food. I don't want to make it though. But I think it'll be good for you, bro. Yeah, I know. That's why I brought it up. You read my mind, bro. So you have traditional, but yeah, skillet. I mean, and then they have like so many flavors. Oh, I got a dope Mexican cornbread one too. I don't know if it'll let me convert it though. I don't think it's gonna let me convert. It's a nice one. Yeah, sweet cornbread, and there's like variation lemon yogurt cornbread. I know you guys haven't heard about that, but you watch the cooking shows. Which I watch all that, Guy Fieri and Gordon Ramsay. Anything that is like cooking, I'm on that. I'm on that, man. Like every episode is like locked and loaded, watching it, phone down. Like, oh, okay. The lemon cornbread, lemon yogurt cornbread. Oh, yeah. Gumbo sounds amazing too. Just depends on, I guess, which one you want more, and that'll get your decision. So. I can only imagine what cornbread tastes like in the Midwest and the South. If you get a place that is like known for it, oh, it's game over. It's like I wouldn't even want just like a chunk. I literally would want like the whole, and the whole the whole portion they put in the oven because that's what it tastes like. Oh, I appreciate you. And a bang, 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 boom, boom, boom. Appreciate you. What do you want to see for photos? I'm going to stay on here for a few minutes to take care of you guys and we were just talking about food that that chef is thinking about making. Sometimes when you're a little bit down, and you want to be able to get a little bit better, you know, simple things, just something that even takes 30 minutes or less. It's super therapeutic. I know it is for me. And when I sit down and watch like my favorite show or whatever I'm watching, then it even makes the show better. I'm eating something, and it's like you're unconsciously like smiling, feeling good, and even if you're not in a good headspace, you'll be better. You'll be better. Let me know what you want to see for some photos before I go. Bang, 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 boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. You want some Kraken? Play tomorrow. I'm doing the Kraken stream tomorrow. Is that what we want to do? Hi, Paisley. All right, let me. Paisley does this thing with her nose where she sees my wrist, by the table in the mouse, and she will purposely lift up my wrist so I can't work. Yes, I'm almost done. I'm gonna get some photos for Megan, and then I'm gonna feed you the snack, and then we're gonna go for a walk, even in the rain. Okay, we're gonna go on an adventure. And I already made sure that your harness is dry. Okay, love you. Give me a couple minutes here. We're gonna put some cracking up, and now she's doing the nose thing to my wrist right now. Give me a second, honey. Okay, I promise. She is a needy girl. No, she's like literally. She's so smart. No, no, no. I'm gonna squeeze these in. No, if you're gonna support me like that, I'm gonna, Paisley can wait. I spend like literally 20 hours of my day with her, probably more than that. 22. Maybe there's only when I'm kind of trying to grind and work and whatnot. So let me delete some of these other photos and let's do But they're going to win tomorrow, and I'm super excited to do the game. I feel a little guilty that I haven't been able to do as much Blazers or Kraken, but I mean, there's going to be a time where other shit is over, and there'll only be basketball or hockey. So we're going to get plenty of that. But um, I enjoy watching them, even sometimes even more than the Blazers. And I mean, I've been watching the Blazers since I was a little kid, so it's easy for me to watch them. But the NBA as a whole, much harder. But I really do enjoy finally being able to have like a team and to be like, this will be my team for the rest of my life. That's a cool feeling. It just took them a couple years to get here. That's why I didn't want to commit to, just like a random team. Like, oh, I am a Pittsburgh Penguin fan. I'm going to be Mario Lemieux. I'm going to be Sidney Crosby. Or I'm going to be a Washington Capital fan. Ovechkin. Like, I easily could have did something like that, or just hopped on the Mario Lemieux bandwagon or Wayne Gretzky type thing. So let's go. Yeah, I can't wait for tomorrow. I've been trying to watch as many games as I'm able to, but I haven't been able to watch every single game, unfortunately. From beginning to end, at least to say that. So I try to get as much as I can and keep up with what's going on. But obviously, I'll get a feel when I actually get to call the games. Then I'm very locked in, and then I can catch up based off what the announcers say, and then also get a vibe on like how we're trending, if we're going to be getting better or if we're still going to be struggling. So. But we turned a corner. It was all about getting that first win, and then once the first win came, then it's like, all right, we need to play catch up now, but not impossible for the Kraken. 6 o'clock Pacific time tomorrow. Kraken. Paisley's like, Daddy. I gotta squeeze as many as I can in here before she's right next to me on the floor, just being a good girl, waiting for Daddy, knowing that Daddy's almost done. She's such a well behaved, like the hard to describe. She is amazing, disciplined, adventurous dog Dada. I am the dog Faja. Yeah, the chili thing is such a cool thing though, because I know, because I've had like depression and anxiety. I've gone through the ups and the downs and stuff. So sometimes depending on if you're like vegetarian or vegan like Megan, and you have certain things that you don't eat, and then some of the people eat any of the meats or whatever you decide. But just taking the time to make yourself a special meal on whatever it is, if you have the ability, or even if you don't have the ability and you try, sometimes you can actually be like, oh wow, I actually made something that tastes pretty good. Like, not everyone's going to be like a Gordon Ramsay contestant, or some people are better than others. But you put in that effort, I'm telling you that chili or gumbo, yeah, And if you ever drop through Oregon, we'll have to go to the coast, so that way you can have like that fresh, crispy shrimp and Moe's, and you can experience some good food and some good vibes. Lincoln City's got an arcade. We could always hit the arcade up and then go to Moe's. And it's so close that it's like if you go there, it's only like an hour and a half, 2 hours from my place to there. So you can go there early in the morning, boom, get there, walk on the beach, play some video games, eat some fucking bomb seafood, and then head back. You don't even have to sleep there and spend money there. You can just drive back and then go to the hotel or, you know, wherever you're staying, like in like Beaverton, or if you're not in Portland, somewhere safer and cheaper. You know, that would be the smart thing to do. And then get a place like in Beaverton, you know, Aloha, Tiger, Tualatin, Sherwood. Like find somewhere there so you're kind of more in the burbs, and then boom. Boom. Unless we went to like a duck game together, then that would be, dude, you would be like, oh, this is insane. You'd be like, this, yeah, you would have a good time. But do the chili, dude. Do the chili or the gumbo. You got to make a decision, and then boom. I can't wait. And then hopefully, you know, Bears, Panthers. I don't really expect a whole lot, but I think the Bears will surprise. They'll be like, oh, look at these Bears. Even if Fields doesn't participate. So 27-6 Chargers. Come on, Aaron Rodgers. The Jets need you. I got to throw a couple pizza up real quick. We got to make sure if I'm leaving, I'm going to squeeze as many of these in before Paisley just goes crazy. And then it's just like, he gave me an initial warning how much he misses dad. So, but, you know, little things like this can, you know, make the rest of your day better. It's all about effort. Always in life, effort. You make the effort. You make effort, but things are better for more people. That's what it's about. I got to go exercise, go walk around in the rain, go on an adventure with my dog, eat some food for dinner, and maybe watch the last episode of Dexter, and then try to find a new show. So, Jeff, hopefully you can come through, you know, on any other stream I can do a little bit earlier, and then if not, you can always message me on like, you know, socials or whatever. So you can keep up with me there and make that food, and I'll be back tomorrow. Like I said, I'm doing Kraken at 6. Wednesday, I'm going to AEW Dynamite with Preston. He gifted us tickets, so I don't know if we're sitting front row or in the nosebleeds, but it'll be dope. First AEW Dynamite for me. So, and then no stream Wednesday, Thursday, we're doing Bears and Panthers, which I actually think will be better than people think. And then that's the schedule. That's the schedule. But I appreciate you guys very, very much. And I'll give you guys some more photos, obviously, on the next stream or whenever I see you guys. But I hope you guys end up having a great rest of your day, great rest of your week. Fun stuff to look forward to. And find a new show that you haven't watched in a while. Watch it. It'll make you feel good. Or watch something that you watched back when you were a kid, old cartoon or something. You know, it'll surprise you. It'll make you on a better vibe. And then make sure you make a good meal for yourself in the next 2 weeks. Make sure you take the time to go out of your way to make a meal, and it'll definitely hit much better than you think. Right? Hit it right on the spot. Right, what you need. Big facts. Final score: Chargers 27, Jets 6. Shep is making gumbo and sending me some and chili. Thank you. Appreciate you. Release the Kraken. Thank you for all the support and the donos for everyone that donated, commented, shared. You guys are all amazing people. Shout out to Megan and all the rest for all the support. Reflect. Megan, Sarah, Shep, all the others, Twitter, X, everyone else. Appreciate y'all. And I got one question for you. Who you know talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Love you guys, and I'm out. Thanks.